right. What a way to start off. Gentleman Joe, thank you very much for the host. All right, so feels like forever since we have played, yet we just played this past Wednesday for this game, so hope everybody's ready. It's going to be an interesting RP-based session. Should be a lot of fun for us. Let me check my audio volumes. I'm going to turn this down just a little more. So here's what we have coming up. Tomorrow is Fate's game night. He's continuing. I think he's on his third night of Rise of the Tomb Raider, so he's going to continue that. Hopefully get it finished sometime soon, because I know the new game's coming as well, or is out now. Haven't been keeping up on the dates and stuff for that. Replay on Friday, 8 o'clock, or 8:30 a.m. Is going to include this game. It's going to include our Civil War game. If you missed that, I want to try to make that a daytime stream, catch some attention from people. So that'll be good. Ascension should return on Sunday. Tyranny will be back on Monday. Entropy is not this Sunday, but the Sunday following. We had just finished a game of that this past Sunday. Alliance and Empire are still going to be out. As a reminder, next week they will not be playing. Or 2 weeks from now they will not be playing, because I will be in Indianapolis for Gen Con. So instead, Alliance's next game will be on the 18th, with Empire's on the 22nd. So it's going to be a little bit of a delay, which is okay, because I need some time to write more campaign material after the chaos that ensued during the crossover event. Hey Willie, how's it going, man? Yes, you are tuning in for a pretty RP heavy session, hopefully. Got a lot of story. I have a story that I've kind of been working with, trying to get set up for them during this next chapter. So you're just in time for this awesomeness. I think that's everything. Let me check in over here. Are you guys ready over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Just getting ready for some illegal activities.
All right. So.
Here we go, Rob.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? So, last session, a lot of things had to die last session. As you had finished making your way over to the Abbey and ringing the bell, alerting the guards of the city of Golden Fields, and stopped an incoming group of hill giants that were attacking, you quickly turned to the west and headed towards the gate where the Moonbiter gang was attempting to find their way out after hearing the bell and noticing that the guards were alerted. Dispatched them pretty quickly with the help of the guards, who were continuing to rain arrows down on top of them, and did so in a pretty quick and orderly fashion. As you finished, however, the guard noticed something was amiss as he looked to the southeast.
We're just done with phrasing, right?
As he did,
not a thing anymore?
He looks over and he sees part of the wall is collapsed. Not only is the wall collapsed, but the guards have not noticed anything going on. He quickly points this out to you guys, and as you turn and you look, you notice 3 more hill giants had entered into the walls of the city and decided it was best that you head in that direction immediately and try to head things off before it got a little out of control. As you get down there, however, you see an entire army with ogres and launching contraptions on their backs, taking and picking up the goblins by their heads and launching them into these contraptions and hurling them up and over the wall. Few of you got hit by some of them. You did a considerable amount of damage in the process. But you were able to take down the hill giants with little trouble thanks to the help of the guards and scouts who were helping to protect the inside of the city. As the last hill giant fell, the ogres and the goblins that were remaining quickly escaped, running off south into the wooded banks of the Dasaran River, disappearing into the early morning kind of looming sun kind of beaming over the trees, trying to make their way out and get as far away from you guys as possible. And we ended our session with you guys still standing at the wall, figuring out what you were doing. And I believe you guys wanted to go back and loot the bodies of everything that was around.
Yeah.
As only natural adventurers would do.
Yeah,
Of course.
it seems like a pretty common kind of standard thing. Want to loot the dead bodies. So let's go ahead and move to our map. Alright, so you find yourself at the southeastern wall, kind of digging around through the various bodies of things that have died there. The 3 hill giants and a ton of goblins that were kind of thrown up and over. As they're launched into the field of play here, you can kind of search through the goblins' bodies. And as you do, you find there's a slew of things that are kind of interesting. You find a few coin pouches worth 104 gold pieces. In one of the bags, each one of these goblins had these sacks attached to their hip. Should they survive the impact of being flung up and over this wall, their objective was to come into the walls of the city and steal everything they can to take back to the giants. However, you notice one of the goblins has a pack that doesn't look like all the others. While most of them look very simplistic, like gunny sacks, this one looks a little more personal, bearing the resemblance of a strange-looking goblin's face on the top flap.
I'd like to take it
Thanks, Willie.
inside of me.
Okay. The rest of you, as you continue searching around, you notice the 3 that you had fought had giant bags that they were carrying around with them. And in these bags were a variety of just miscellaneous things. Everything from like a bronze gong to a riding saddle to a dented helmet that appears to have chunks of food within it. You find a mangy fur pelt in one of the bags and a painted rocking horse. You do find 3 red dragon scales, a brilliantly glowing, very large vial of red liquid, and a rolled up piece of parchment with a somewhat ornate wax seal on it. On one of the giants, a large piece of parchment, though kind of relative to the size of the giants themselves. As you start to unfold it, you take a look and you read it, and it says, "Put food in bag. Grudhog home. Give food to Gur." And I'll copy and paste that for you in chat.
And this was on the large piece of parchment?
Oh, Wiley, gotcha. Yes, this is on the very big piece. Like you unfold it, and like Grand Cool, for your size, it's literally as wide as you are. You hold this out, and like your like shoulder straight, or your arm straight out from your shoulders, and it's literally as wide as you are.
Why do you pronounce his name Gur? Am I
Guh?
just mishearing it? I guess
Guh?
it is. Yeah. I thought you
Guh.
were saying Gur, like GRR.
Oh,
So now I
no,
have to
I'm
go
sorry.
through and change all my notes.
Guh. It's guh.
It's the
Guh.
accent. That's what it is.
It's the accent. So, did find the dragon scales. You found a very large vial of potion. And the parchment with the very ornate wax seal on it. Who wants to do what with these items?
Can I try and identify figure out what the potion vial is?
Sure. As you're kind of looking at it, go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
I'll take a look at the parchment.
Okay.
Yes, that's great.
It looks...
Lucas, do you need a hand with that?
Yeah, it'd kind of be nice. Can you
Well,
tell me what
certainly.
this is?
Yeah, let me just slide in and take a look as well.
Okay. Go ahead and give me another Arcana check then, Lucas.
Yeah, she's
okay, she's gonna do it. Okay. Kilane, as you're looking at this very large, kind of very vibrant colored bottle of red liquid, you know this to be a potion of healing far greater than anything you've ever seen before. It is a potion of superior healing.
Nice.
It's a very potent potion. It'll be helpful.
Grankul, you look at this, you kind of break the wax seal of this rolled up piece of parchment. And as you're looking at it and you kind of look it over, your eyes get really, really big. As you look at it, you're able to start to identify exactly what it is. It is a spell scroll of Conjure Elemental.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Another follower.
No, that's not how it works.
Lucas, did
That's
you
not
want
how
to
any of this
identify the
works.
bag?
Bag? Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me another Arcana check. Keelan, you can help if you would like, since you guys are looking over the same items.
Oh, hey, my turn to roll low.
Hey!
Yeah, Lucas got it. So, Lucas, you
There we
are
go.
quickly able to identify this as a bag of holding.
Hey,
Just fancy looking with a goblin's face on it.
we didn't have to go find one now.
It's
Buy
true.
one.
It's
Now we
true.
can carry all the stuff.
As you start to make your way
I'll put
back,
the bag on.
start to make your way back over towards the gate, back where the bugbears, goblins, and ogres were. As you start searching through the bodies here, you come to the realization that none of the ogres carry any real loot on them. However, kind of digging through the bodies of the goblins, you're able to find a total of 48 copper pieces and some various worthless items, kind of similar to the ones that you had seen on the bodies of the goblins back to the south. Looks like they had started gathering just random things they could get their hands on and taking them with them. The bugbears have varying size pouches on them, with a total of 53 silver some random stolen items such as torches and pitchforks and some fresh food items, but not a lot contained within any of the things that they had. As you make your way back towards the abbey, again you find the 3 giants that were killed just outside of it, along with the goblins, bugbears, and ogres. On the bodies of the bugbears, you find a total of 19 gold pieces and 2 standard potions of healing. The goblins, carrying only copper this time, 70 total copper pieces, and again, various kind of worthless items in their possession. On the giants, though, you find some more interesting things. Within their giant bags that they were carrying around with them, you find a broken wooden oar, a fresh haunch of meat that was taken from one of the buildings here in the city, an iron cooking pot, a bag of dried mushrooms, a 50-foot coil of hempen rope, and a giant-sized drum. As you're digging through the bag a little more, you start to find other interesting items. You find 10 onyx gemstones worth 50 gold each. You find 2 potion vials, though one of them is mostly empty, and the other one fills with the same color and viscosity liquid in the second one. Would require some identification to be able to use it, or you could just take it and figure out what it does. In addition to these items, you do find a lot of food items. Fresh grains and some baked bread, whole chickens with their entire heads ripped off of them, blood kind of covering the various items within the bag. Around the necks of both Lob and Og are 2 crudely made necklaces made out of round bones, with very long strips of leather wrapped around them. The necklaces appear to bear a very hastily drawn or carved rune into them, and I will show you what that rune looks like.
Man, Dad was all pumped to wear one of those, but now the rune makes it seem like it means something, and he doesn't want to wear one anymore.
We'll get you your own now.
Then as
Let's
you
make one out of these giant bones.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Jeff. So then you turn and you head in towards Town Square. On the various bodies of the bugbears, you find 12 kind of opaque, light pink colored gemstones and 3 kind of like a deep blue colored gemstone, each worth 10 gold each. As you begin to search around the bodies of the goblins, again, you don't find a lot. You find 48 silver pieces, a torch, some random worthless items like an iron earring or a worn belt, even like a wooden spike. But then your eyes catch on to something very interesting. A very strange looking ear horn. As you pick it up and take a look, it feels almost unnatural. It has, to you, you can immediately sense that it has a very magical property to it. Yes, each worth 10 gold each. I know. You can definitely tell there's something magical to this item, though you can't quite put your finger on what it is.
Even with the extended amount of study on it?
If you spend a little time with it, yeah, you could probably figure it out.
I mean, I can look over it for you, Crinkle.
Which one of us has the higher Arcana score?
Spending some time with it, knowing your magical prowess, you are able to identify this as an ear horn of hearing.
Interesting.
That seems like a very specific item.
Yeah. Probably has a specific use. I'm just saying.
So, let me change the music here before we continue.
There you go.
Now that we have all of the loot out of the way,
Was I read on my initial, the top text, it was 54 silver pieces and 38 copper? Or was it 58 copper? Back in like the first group.
I believe it was the second group. The first group had 105 gold pieces. So don't miss that.
I didn't hear that either.
Yeah, that was at the very, very beginning. There was the first group of goblins you were looking over. You had, let's see, what was it? 70 copper, 48 copper, 48. There was a 48 copper and a 48 silver. So both.
Is that wrong? 48 silver pieces.
Yep.
You like me to put all this in the bag of holding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you should.
All right. And then
I'll be.
the
I guess I
70.
could be your treasurer.
Okay. So yeah, with the giants having been defeated, or at least the ones that have made their way over to the city of Golden Fields, the ogres would quickly run away, heading south, as I mentioned, towards the Desarin River. The guards and citizens of Golden Fields would take a moment to kind of look over the damage that has been caused by the attacks. The southeastern wall now in desperate need of repair. Many of the farmhouses to the east, over in this direction, have been destroyed. The cornfields and wheat fields heavily trampled. Various animals missing from their pens. As the morning sun continues to rise, you slowly make your way back to the city proper. Somber overtones have kind of fallen over the town square and the abbey, with Z, Orin, Noxine, and Shalvis in tow. You quickly make your way to the spot where you had left behind the dead body of Miros Zelbrun. The citizens of the city quickly come to your aid, helping to lift the rock out of the way and help pick up the kind of limp, lifeless body of Miros and take him inside the abbey. Abbot Darovic? Yep. Abbot Darovic quickly rushes over, seeing everybody carrying this lifeless body in of the friend that he has known for many, many years. He says a few quick prayers and kind of invoking the word of Shantae, and he attempts to lay the spirit of Miros to rest. After a couple of minutes, he stops and turns to you and says, "I'm going to need a little time to prepare his body. Miros was a fine man, and he deserves a proper ceremony. Acolytes, please, if you'll help me get the body prepared, and please use caution."
Nav's going to kind of immediately perk up and ask the man, "Shall we continue to watch after his cat? It seemed to have taken a liking to Selja."
He stops and thinks for a second and says, "We'll discuss that more in a bit. Right now, let me focus on this, and then we can discuss that later."
Nav will just kind of look over at Grinkle and then shrug.
As the abbot continues to look over the body, Z immediately storms out of the abbey. Almost as soon as she walks out, you start to hear the sound of shouting. As you turn and step outside, you watch as Z delivers a punishing right cross to the face of Strog Thunderblade, the captain of the guard here in Golden Fields. As Thunderblade collapses to the ground, you hear Z immediately just angry, starts shouting at him. "This is your fault, you incompetent bastard. I've been telling you for weeks that we must fix that southern wall and you've ignored me. This is your fault. All of this. Maybe Abbot Darovic will enjoy your company, but I cannot stand idly by as our city gets attacked by giants. If you are continued to be left in charge, we will all be killed." Thunderblade kind of clutches to his jaw a bit and leans forward, kind of wheezing due to his kind of bulbous figure. As he does, Z immediately pushes her foot into his chest and laying him back on the ground. As soon as he kind of lays back, she begins to speak. But as soon as she goes to open her mouth, you once again hear the voice of the abbot kind of ring out over the crowd. As he shouts, "What in the nine hells is going on? Z, what have you done?" And she stops and gives him a bit of a look, kind of disappointed in him almost. And then quickly reaches down, straightening her acolyte uniform, and says, "Abbot, Captain Thunderblade has once again endangered our citizens through his neglect. We cannot allow this pathetic excuse for a guard captain to continue to offer his brand of protection, as it will certainly mean the demise of our people. We have become far too important to the people of the Sword Coast. I know you wish not to engage in confrontation, Abbot, but if it had not been for the quick actions of our adventurers here, your lackadaisical captain and your city would certainly have fallen to these hill giants." And the abbot kind of stops and looks over the party. A bit of nervousness falls upon his face as he kind of looks around and then turns to sadness as he looks down at his hands and the blood that covers it from his fallen friend Miros. And he stops for a second and speaks up and says, "No, you're right, Z. We must do something. I cannot allow our people to live in danger any longer. Zeeling, effective immediately, you will replace Mr. Thunderblade as captain of the guard. I expect a full report by day's end tomorrow on what must be done to secure our city once again." Kind of with that, Captain Thunderblade tries to sit up again, but immediately Z presses her foot into his chest. With a bit of a huff, he reaches up and grabs onto her foot and says, "You can't be seriously entertaining this, Abbot. This entire attack is purely coincidental. I've been the guard captain for longer than you can remember. This girl knows little of what it would take to run the guard here. You cannot be taking her word over mine." And he kind of clears his throat a bit, and the abbot says, "No, Strog, I'm quite serious. You are free to stay in the city, but you'll provide like everyone else. Work in the fields. Help as a member of the guard if you so choose. Or you can leave our city. The choice is really up to you." As the crowd slowly begins to disperse, so too does Z, Orin, Noxine, and Shavas. Orin and Noxine head northeast, making their way to the inn, while Shalvis slowly makes his way over to the fields. Z, on the other hand, heads north, making her way up towards the guard captain's quarters, up in this direction. The abbot turns back to the adventurers here and says, "The people of Golden Fields owe you a lot more than you can imagine. While I don't personally have much to offer, I do have one idea. Tomorrow, we'll have a chat and we can discuss the proper way to reward you."
As he says that, I'll walk forward to him and nod to him. "Very well, Abbot. We are not seeking too much compensation for this. We had our own reasons to fight the giants and their friends."
And of course, the Emerald Enclave is always happy to make sure Golden Fields stay standing.
I'm going to kind of lean in towards her. Did you check on the turkeys? Are they okay?
Kind of with that, the abbot nods and thanks you for all your aid here with the city, and then says, if you want, head to North Furrows Inn. I'm sure there will be empty beds, and without Miros here, it's... I guess I will assume his position and will offer you free room and board for the night, should you choose to stay and rest up. You have a long day ahead, I'm sure, and we have a lot that we need to discuss in the morning.
Once again, I'll nod and look up at him and kind of questioningly, will there be a service for Miros? I like to think that he was our friend. He treated us well. We would like to send him off.
He didn't deserve to be crushed by several rocks.
Very big rocks.
The abbot nods and says, yes, sir. Will be a service, but I'm not exactly sure how soon we will be ready for it. However, if you would like to stay around, you are more than welcome to.
Very well. Till tomorrow, then.
And he nods and slowly turns back, heading back towards the abbey, where the acolytes are continuing to kind of cover the wounds and kind of patch up Miros and make him presentable.
It's gonna take a while.
How much is left of him?
Not much. He was pretty flattened by this massive boulder that the giant threw at him. So, with that, I guess you guys would want to head up to the end then?
Does it seem like they have sent an adequate guard down towards the southeast wall? Or there was obviously a big asshole?
So as soon as the abbot made Z in charge of the guard, she immediately started going around and gathering men and sending them in that direction.
Okay. Yeah, I have nothing else to do unless y'all do.
No.
Okay.
Well, I think getting back to rest is well deserved at this point.
Yeah, we'll rest, and in the morning we'll go check on the turkeys.
All right, so you make your way back up to North Furrows Inn. Where as you kind of open the door and walk in, you notice that Orin and Noxine are sitting at one of the tables within this very empty building, trying to take all of this in. The two are discussing the events of the evening, with Orin looking quite a bit stressed out from all of this.
As we were walking back, everyone is able to see that I was pulling some larger sacks out of Nav's bag that were jingling with coin and giving them over to Lucas so they can hold everything.
And they are immediately going in the bag of holding.
All right. So let's see. If there's nothing you guys would like to do for the evening, we'll go ahead and move forward. Yeah, you're free to kind of do whatever you want here in the city. If you want to go to Town Square and purchase any supplies or anything you might need, you are welcome to do so. You have an entire day because you're meeting with them first thing in the morning, so you have plenty of time to do just whatever miscellaneous things you need.
I do want Nav and Grinkle
To what now?
I want Nav in town to...
You're cutting off. We don't hear you if you're talking.
Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, alright. I want Nav and Crinkle to go to town to look for a bow.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I do want to do that at some point.
And you'll find there's a general store that carries most basic kind of equipment, some adventuring gear. You would be able to find a bow, though it wouldn't be in great condition, but it would just go for the typical price if you look in the player's handbook for it.
Okay.
Same thing with arrows and things of that nature. He has a supply of 40 arrows on him, and only the one bow. Again, it's not in fantastic condition, but it'll serve its purpose.
I will go with. How does the party's ration?
I'm down
I
to
got
8.
6.
I have been eating people's legs as we go, so I still have my original rations.
Forge, how would those bags of food convert into rations?
It's hit or miss because it's just random items that they've kind of picked up.
Right.
You could probably get upwards to like 10 or 15 rations total out of it.
Okay.
10 or 15 days worth of rations. You got to remember, these are giants that they were just lugging this stuff around, trying to gather it to take back with them. So yeah, anything that you found there, like I said, I'll give you 15 days worth of rations on it.
Okay. You said 15?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take 4 of those. That puts me at 10. We still have 11 days from that.
I'll take 2. So down to 9.
Down to 9. I could also just hold on to the extra 9 and give them out as we eat them.
Yeah, I currently have 7, but I'm not a picky eater. Seriously,
This is
I'll
true.
eat whatever we kill.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we kill something. Yeah, so I'll
and-
just put the other 9 in the bag, and as people need them.
Yeah, and that would make the most sense, especially considering you have just a big group of people. It'd be easy to just start handing them out as needed.
Yeah, and we may end up needing 2 bags. Guys.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, just wait to see what kind of bow he can use, and I'll just pay for it, Lucas.
You still have money?
Yeah, I
Oh.
didn't give you all of it, just most of it.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah,
I, for some reason, didn't write down my proficiencies on my character sheet. Have it, so I'm looking up them.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'll
we're
let
just
you know
gonna
in a
buy
second.
whichever one he
Great.
can use. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I need. Nah, I'm looking pretty good on items.
You have proficiencies on anything?
Shit.
Zorn,
Yeah, I know martial weapons. And,
martial and simple.
and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Then
so
yeah,
can
you
use
can
it.
So
use
you
the
have
longbow.
proficiency on anything?
So I can use it along with.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
There is no weapon you are not proficient.
Correct.
All right, so I'll pay 50 gold to get Nab a longbow.
Okay.
In the 40 arrows.
50.
All right. So yeah, you start purchasing and gathering supplies, getting everything ready for your trek out of the city. And as you begin to settle in for the evening, the city itself is still quite the buzz. Z's immediately running around trying to gather everybody to secure the city, almost doubling down the number of guards that are kind of patrolling the outer wall. Her plan seems to be going into place without a hitch, and you're able to rest quietly for the first time in a while within the inn without being interrupted. In the morning, as everybody begins to wake up, you make your way downstairs in North Furrow's Inn, overhearing some stories being told of Miros by Noxine, Z, and Orin. Noxine's retelling her story of how Miros on several occasions attempted to court her, but her duty to the watchful order of Magus and protectors was always her priority for being here in the city of Goldenfields. Kind of thinking over the past, Noxine somewhat wishes that her tenure with the Watchful Order was over so that she could live out the rest of her days here in the city. Z begins retelling tales of the Emerald Enclave and how their order has always been very strongly supported by Miros through the years, with Miros offering up even his own bed to members of the Enclave in times of need, preferring to put himself out before making others do so. Orin also speaks very highly of Miros, considering him one of his only true friends. Similarly, he speaks of the gratitude that he had experienced from Miros' generosity to the people of the city, even mentioning how Miros was willing to give his own clothes and food to the citizens to ensure they were comfortable while living within the city itself. As a bit of time passes, the abbot joins the others in the North Furrow Inn, sitting at the head of the table as the conversations begin to die down. The abbot kind of looks around the room and says, "Obviously, we hardly know much of you." Looking at each one of the adventurers here, says, "Yesterday, however, your actions speak volumes to your character. I consulted with Z last night. She suggested that we leave North Furrow's Inn to you. Now, I know you're going to say you don't have time to take care of the inn, but I think I know just the people who can assist you. While you are away, we will leave North Furrow under the care of Orin and Noxine. And she can stick around to assist as much as possible whenever her time allows her to do so. I trust they will be very willing and capable assistants for you." As he mentions this, Orin and Noxine kind of nod in agreement. And Abbot Darovic kind of turns to the party and says, "What do you say? Is that reward enough?"
I'll look around at the rest of the party. I've never owned an inn before.
Nav just kind of looks back at Grinkle. I don't really know what to do with one, but that's okay with me.
We just show up and drink the booze, right?
I think we would need somebody to run it as I'm not sure we want to
They just said Orin and Oxine would run it for us.
Yeah.
oh
While
sorry.
you guys are gone, Orin and Noxine will run it. They still have like their cooks and barmaids and things like that are going to be
Okay.
on contract with them.
that.
But
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay.
You guys would probably notice that Kiwane's hair and eyes aren't the green color they were the day before. Now they're a stark snowy white. And when asked about the inn, she just kind of shrugs her shoulders and is like, "Well, it'll probably be really bad and drive us all into debt, and maybe it'll catch fire and everybody inside will die. But I'm sure it'll be just a blast."
Wait, who are you?
I'm Kiwane. Good
No,
morning.
you're not. Your hair's the wrong color.
Well, no, it's the right color for right now. It's dreadful, I know. I just didn't know what to do with myself today.
That I lean over to Nav. Is she crazy?
I'm not even sure who she is, and she just introduced herself.
Me either. Oh well.
Oh, goblins, you're always such delightful creatures.
Thank you.
I'm not a goblin.
You're a goblinoid, and it was sarcasm.
With that, I'll just shrug, turn back towards the abbot. We'll take it. We won't be around to run it, so we appreciate the help in that. Yeah. Do we need to sign in blood or anything?
So, with that, the abbot kind of chuckles and says, No, there's no need for that. If you will accept this, then it is settled. I'm certain Miros wouldn't have it any other way. So, with this, just to give you guys an understanding of what is going on here, the North Furrow End is now your home. You can make improvements to it. You gain a cut of the profits that are shared between yourselves, Orin and Noxine. Food, drink, and anytime you need a place to stay is all covered by the inn itself.
Nice.
And there is a steady flow of alcohol coming here from the north. So yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
After this is all done, this war is over, how long do you think it takes them to kick out a couple of goblins and a bugbear?
Guess we'll see, huh?
That's right.
So-
We're going to have to run this town eventually, Grinkle.
More followers. Excellent. Need to replace that church, though. It's not the right one.
Let's add a steeple to the bar.
All
A
right.
large statue of me.
No.
No. So with that, the abbot kind of chuckles listening to your conversation and says, So tell me, adventurers, where will you go to next? Do you have any leads, any ideas on what comes next? After all, I'm surprised by your boldness, or by the boldness of these giants. They normally stay far away from golden fields.
It seemed like they were really desperate for food, though. Likely starving. Hunger overrides stupidity.
Maybe we can take them some food, and they won't be mad anymore.
Hey, Joe. How are you, bud?
And maybe we could figure out why they're so starving.
I bet you Gub would like us if we brought him food.
I think so too.
They might mistake you for the food instead.
As your conversation continues, you notice that Noxine has kind of looked up from her book that she's now closed and set in front of her. And she has a bit of a concerned look on her face and says, Well, to be honest, Abbott, I'm kind of glad you mentioned this. Something tells me this attack is just the beginning. You see, I've heard rumblings that other settlements have been impacted by the sudden appearance of giants. And not just hill giants either, but stone and fire, frost and cloud giants.
Maybe you heard rumblings because they're hungry.
Noxine turns and, kind of ignoring the hungry comment, turns to Zilang and says, I'm almost convinced that now is not the time for half measures. Obviously, stories of age-old conflicts between dragons and giants are no surprise to anyone. But these giants...
Pretend like they don't understand, though.
She chuckles and says these giants are growing bold and left unchecked. It's going to create chaos in the realm. She turns and looks at the party, kind of clutching onto her book a little bit and says, I urge you, perhaps now is the time that we seek out a powerful yet kind dragon. Perchance you can convince them to contact other good dragons and use them to combat the giants. I am confident that the Lord's Alliance will support my plans, given the gravity of the situation, of course. Should you find yourself in Waterdeep, speak to an acquaintance of mine, Shazloth Yarghorn. I believe that's his name. I'm going to copy and paste it for you because...
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's a Russian what?
Right?
Russian drug lord?
She, as she says the name, she stops for a second and says, he's a renowned dragon expert. I can provide you details of his residence in the city's North Ward, should you be interested.
That is a name that exists.
That is definitely a name that exists.
I'm not even going to grief you if you mispronounce that a couple times.
So what you're suggesting is to get good dragons involved to combat this evil dragon
Giant.
that may have messed up the giant system in order to take over the world.
She kind of shrugs a bit and says, I suppose that is one way to look at it. Yes, the good dragons can certainly help us in times of need.
Okay.
Wait, so we're gonna go see a dragon?
Dragons eat goblins.
No.
Yes, they
just
do.
we should take food in case he's hungry.
Oh, good idea.
She stops and says, No. I'm not asking you to see a dragon. I'm just asking you to go and meet a dragon expert. Then perhaps you can find more information about a good dragon that can help us.
That seems much less likely for me to be eaten. I like it.
Dang it.
Well, we'll take him food too.
And with that, the abbot kind of nods and says, I don't know any other way that we can help you. I mean, again, you've done so much for us. Perhaps, maybe as you're heading out, we can organize a few horses for your travels. Perhaps that would be best. I wish we could offer wagons, but it's harvest season and we simply don't have an extra supply of wagons like we normally would. I'm sure you understand.
Yes.
That I just pat Nav on the back where he's got that makeshift harness. I don't need a horse. I have Nav.
I don't think horses would be okay with me riding them.
The rest of us, I think, would appreciate.
And he nods and says, Very well, then 4 horses. I will make sure that they're prepared for you when you're ready to leave. Also, as per your request yesterday, we will be holding a small service for Miros, kind of as he would like, at the Abbey later this evening. If you would like to stop by, you are more than welcome to.
Of course.
With that, he nods and looks to the others and says, Well, if there's nothing else, then I suppose I'll be going and get preparation started. And,
Wait. One more question.
Okay.
Have you made arrangements for his cat? Can he come with us?
He looks at you and says, North Furrows Inn is yours. Everything in it belongs to you now, including the cat.
Party cat.
Selja will be happy.
Selja will be happy. All right. And so with that, he slowly walks out, making his way over towards the Abbey, getting preparations started. As he was stepping out, he mentions that they will be holding the service at 3 bells in the afternoon. should you choose to come down and pay your respects.
Very well.
And
What
as
time
you-
is it now?
It's early morning. It's like 9 bells in the morning. As he makes his way out, you start to hear him, though his voice trails off as he continues to walk away. He begins to round up a few horses and gather supplies and things of that nature for you before he finally makes his way to the abbey itself. As you kind of spend the rest of the morning, it's pretty quiet around, obviously. The city's slowly coming down from this like high elevation of stress after experiencing this giant attack. And you make your way, eventually make your way out of North Frozen. You see they've prepared 6 horses with saddles and saddlebags, each containing some rations for a few days of travel. Kind of inspect the horses, kind of look them over. Oren quickly rushes out of the inn, a couple of casks under his arms. What appears to be the Golden Gulp ale that they serve here. He walks up, kind of flashes a bit of a smile, and places them on the ground next to the party. He kind of reaches out, shaking everyone's hand, thanking them again for everything. And then when he gets to Karsnook, he reaches forward and hands him a letter. Kind of wipes the sweat from his brow and says, "If you ever find yourself down near Daggerford, would you mind stopping at the Happy Cow and delivering my sister Lily this letter? With all these giants roaming around, I want to make sure that she knows I am safe here in Goldenfields."
Who is this giving us all this stuff?
He gave the letter to Karsnook. And kind of with a small sheepish grin, he thanks Karsnook and slowly begins walking away, heading back inside. As this happens, Z begins walking out, passing by Oren as he re-enters. And then Z walks over and stops next to Lucas, kind of reaching under the neck of her uniform. She pulls out this black pearl pendant that she's had carefully tucked away. And she reaches up and takes the pendant off and says, "Since Goldenfields has become my new home, I doubt I will be back to Waterdeep in my travels. I ask that you deliver this to House Thorn. When you arrive, speak to Calder Marskell. He's the butler of the house. He'll know what to do with it. And I'll give you the name here." And she takes the pendant and places it into Lucas's hands, kind of closing his hands over top of it, and then giving him a slight respectful bow before turning to the rest of the adventurers and kind of greeting them and thanking them again for their help here in the village, and then offers to escort you down to the abbey for the ceremony.
I'll follow along in the escort, head down to the abbey.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna look over to Karsnook and kind of give him a nudge. "I'm likely dead, you know," and then keep walking.
So as you make your way to the abbey, you see they have preparations set up. A nice ceremony within the abbey itself. The 2 bears kind of wandering around the inside, that were wandering around the inside, are now very peaceful. They lay at the front of the building in a very somber look as they just kind of lay there, their heads kind of bowed down. The abbot looks around, says a few words, mentioning some of the good deeds that Miros has done for the village and the people. Talking of how Miros found this place just attempting to get away from his days of being part of a carnival. And found that Golden Fields was a place that he wanted to settle down and make his home. He looks around, and other citizens, as the ceremony goes on, will slowly rise and begin saying a few kind words of Miros before eventually setting back down and the room kind of falling silent for a few moments. Would you guys like to do anything? Or are you just here to pay your respects?
Yeah, Nav's feeling very awkward. He's just paying respects.
Okay. And after a few moments, and the room remains silent, the abbot eventually finishes the ceremony with a prayer to Shantae, and kind of letting the somberness, trying to ease the somberness a bit and lighten the spirits, and telling some funnier stories to end the ceremony here before people slowly begin venturing out, making their way back into the village. The acolytes, as the ceremony comes to an end, take the gurney that he's kind of laid on, or this flat board that they had him resting on. They pick it up and begin taking it to the back, where a small graveyard is an actual grave is prepared for him, and he makes his way back there, and or they make their way back there and start lowering him down into his future grave or his new home. And as they lay him there, it gives the citizens a chance to come back and again pay their last respects before heading off and back to their home or to their jobs here within the city. And with that, the ceremony comes to quiet and kind of somber end. So that leads us to here.
Whoa.
That map, though.
World map.
World map.
Time for the hex crawl, boys.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
So you guys are right over here. You're in the city of Golden Fields, and as you kind of gather your things and prepare to grab your horses to head out of the city, where would you like to go?
I hear Cholts is nice this time of year.
You die on the boat, not making it.
We're pirates now.
You're pirates now.
Okay, so we've got our little quest markers are in Waterdeep, Daggerford. We don't know where the Hill Giants came from, I don't think, unless
They mentioned it was in the note.
the note.
The big note that you picked up and was reading.
Oh, the
rune
red
handout.
hog.
Not the rune handout, but the one that I gave
Big
you.
one.
Yeah, what it actually
So
said.
the food and bag, Grudhog home. Oh, so it's Grudhog.
Oh, I'm missing notes then.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Oh, Grudhog is the place.
Up to the northeast. Okay, so we've got Grudhog, we've got Waterdeep, we've got Daggerford, we've got somewhere else, wherever this Cardle or Marskull is. I didn't catch where the location of him was. It was
He was in Waterdeep.
Yeah,
Waterdeep is right.
House
Okay.
Waterdeep, right?
Yep, yeah, House Thorn
Okay. House Tharn of Waterdeep.
of Waterdeep.
How do you spell that?
Or Thon.
Tharn.
Let me pull that up. Hold on. It is Thon. Thann.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got a couple things in Waterdeep. Grudhog is the only thing that's in a different direction.
And it couldn't be further in the other direction.
So yeah, so if we go to Grudhog first, we could go back to Waterdeep, get a couple quests done, and then go down to Daggerford. Or we can just go down to the west and start at Waterdeep.
Yeah, go Waterdeep, hook to Daggerford, and then do the other thing.
It's just we're going to be the furthest point away.
Yeah, so Carstink was supposed to give the letter in where?
To
That was Waterdeep?
Daggerford.
Oh, that was Daggerford.
It
That's
was
the
his
Daggerford one.
sister in Daggerford.
Okay.
Someone's sister. I don't even
Then
know.
our main guy, dragon guy, is in Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the House Thard is in
I'm
Waterdeep.
supposed to deliver the pendant.
But no one specifically told us to go to Grudhog.
Correct,
That's
yeah,
where
that
the hill giants are from.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that. As you're reading the note from the Hill Giants, you believe that's where Roadhog, being a location that you're familiar with in this region, when you read that on that note, you believe that's probably where you could find them.
Gotcha.
So we've got, logically, we just saved this town. I'm afraid if we don't go to Grudhog, they might get attacked again. And now we have an investment in this town because we have
we have property here.
I don't want it to be destroyed.
We're
We're
landowners.
invested in property. We can't have that value go down by it being destroyed.
Location, man. So, if it's a burning mess because Hill Giants destroyed it, that's just bad business.
So are we going diplomatically or not?
He
And by
just wants food.
diplomatically, I don't mean violence.
No, we can't have giants moving into the neighborhood. We need to be burning some G's into the lawns and telling them to leave.
Yeah, we'll show up.
Do we bring
Hands,
food or not?
We bring food along with us and go up there, and then we.
That
wait
way
and
we
see what
don't get
happens.
eaten ourselves.
Yeah, and if worse comes to worse, we change tactics to aggressive negotiation.
And then runaway negotiations.
If needed. I feel pretty powerful
When
right now.
we realize there's 20 of those or more.
So we should hunt some deer.
For about 4 hours. Level up a couple times.
Yeah, I'm okay with leveling up my hunting ability.
So it doesn't look.
Find me a deer.
Looking at this map, it doesn't look like we have a road we can take up there. So we'd probably be.
We can get
through the
close.
wilderness.
We could follow the river there, though.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
crap,
do have
there's not a road.
you do have the Desarn River. You could always follow straight north to the road. It would take you up close to Bardright Inn if you follow that path or that road north, or the river north.
Yeah, they were saying just follow the river, but we could go up that main one as well.
Yep.
Either way.
And then hop on, what is that? Desserin Road. So we're parallel, perpendicular to Grudhog.
Yep.
And then cut over.
And then theoretically, it looks like the start of the Desserin River goes up to Grudhog. And maybe we could secure, depending on... do we know if that's a village or if it's just a location?
What's that?
Grudhog.
You have a feeling that it's probably like a cavern for just hill giants.
Okay, so
And
that's
they're
not people.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's we know enough that it's where giants hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's probably
Sounds
going to
like-
be really... You feel like after what you just experienced, you only took on 6 of them, and you have no idea the kind of numbers. So if you approach Grudhog, you're going to want to take some time to kind of scout it out before you even go near it. Because you have no idea how big their numbers are, anything like that, what you're going to be up against.
Whoa, hill giants?
We do
Anybody
have
home?
We have a expert on giants in our party that could probably help us out with that. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
Nav's
wouldn't
had some
say
experience.
expert. I've read a few books, and
Talking about Nav.
I can speak I can speak giant. I'm really good at killing giants.
I also
Sort
speak
of.
giant, and I also have a couple of giant kills under my belt.
A couple. Mm-hmm.
And you can track them pretty well,
And I can track them pretty well. Yes.
which is good for scouting.
Which is good for scouting. I can definitely do some scouting. That's not a big deal.
All right. So the plan is take the river then to make your way up there.
Yeah, so take a river up there, start
Which-
heading that direction, and
Which
scout.
river are we taking then? Are we going to go up the barge right?
This would be the Desarn River is right next to the city, and that would take you almost all the way up there if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm confident that we could take the river all the way up there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it forks right outside.
Yeah,
of
if
Golden
Forks,
Fields,
yeah,
so-
Forks not far outside of the city. So if you wanted to take that fork
We
and
could-
then go northeast, you could.
Yeah, just go along here and
Yeah.
head up there.
Yep.
Jeez, that's so far.
It is.
It's gonna take some time.
It's gonna
About
take some
85
time.
miles.
Mm-hmm.
Roll that random
88
encounter.
miles.
All right. So, as you kind of gather your things and start to get on your horse, or 4 horses that you have, and make your way back southwest out of town, you pass by the fields once again where Shalvis has been working. As you slowly make your way past him, he stops you for a second and asks what direction you're headed.
More.
Why is it any of your business?
He kind of stops and says, well, I need somebody to escort me. I have business in Barge Right Inn, so if you're willing to escort me, I would appreciate it.
What are you offering for it?
I don't think he's willing to bring the turkeys, so we should leave them.
He can prepay in turkeys, though.
There
He,
you go.
he kind of chuckles and says, well, I would gladly give you turkeys if I had any, but they are not mine to give. He looks at you and says, I'll pay you in gold. In fact, when we get to Barge Right Inn, I will ensure that my friends offer you plenty of gold.
Who are your friends?
What kind of friends? You don't look like the type who has friends.
Wow.
Wow, she's
Damn.
angry today.
No, she's not angry, she's cold.
Oh, right. New season, got it. He shrugs and says, I have to report to my friend Nalskur. He's one of the proprietors there at the Barge Right Inn.
What do you report?
Just my findings here in the city of Goldenfields, especially with the giant attack and being so close to Groothog, it would probably be best that they understand what we had just faced.
When you say findings, you were here spying on them?
No, I didn't. I didn't say such a thing.
You just
Observe-
did.
Can I insight?
Observation.
Can I insight check him?
You certainly can. Grankle, he seems.
That was mine, sorry.
Yeah. So, Grankle, to you, he seems pretty on the level. It's hard to really get a good feel as to what is really going on. But Keelanay and Nav, as you're watching, he's stammering a bit. He's having a bit of trouble putting the right words together. You can tell something is up.
Why are you lying to us? If you're lying to us, you know that Nav will eat you. You smell like enough of a turkey.
I think he's telling the truth. We should
Shit.
help him.
Shut up, Goblin.
What?
I don't know, Gringle. He smells funny. And he's
Does he?
acting funny.
Listen, I'm just
He
doing.
smells
I'm just doing my
afraid.
job. It's fine.
What
I have a job to
Your
do.
you were a shepherd a moment ago. Now, what job is this?
If you must.
What's the shepherd?
He as you say
Someone
this.
who watches after animals.
As you say this, he leans in and kind of grabs on to like Keelane's her shirt and kind of leans in close and says, "If you absolutely must know, I'm a member of the Zentarum."
Can I? I'm trying to justify advantage in a history for information on them. I don't think they
Is
have
she the only?
Do they have conflict with the Emerald Enclave at all?
No, they
Yeah,
do
was
not.
she trying to keep us from hearing that too?
Is she the only one that hears that?
She is the only one that hears that.
Damn it.
Damn it!
I'm gonna roll a
Hey.
history just so Keelane can know information because I want to separate my information.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
So let's see. One sec. So much stuff. So yeah, you know the Zentarum to be known as the Black Network. They kind of work to influence the powerful in the North. Most of the members crave wealth or personal power. Some people have jobs, such as Shalvis here, who is sent out to somewhat spy on other cities. The other members of the party, because you were not with them at the time, have already had a run-in with the Zentarum.
Yeah. She knows nothing about that.
And you know nothing about that. As he's just looking to deliver news, and you could tell as if you recall back and when you first came to the city of Golden Fields and you walked into Northborough's Inn. When Shalvis entered, he walked into the back of the room and sat down and was kind of looking around the room and pulled out his notebook and was making
He was being
notes.
very observant.
He was, of everything that was going on. You know that from your history of, or your knowledge of the history of the Zentarum, they can be both good and bad. They don't necessarily take a side unless they absolutely have to. And they also run in different groups. So a group out of Waterdeep may run their operations a bit different than a group out of Neverwinter. Each one of them kind of have their own specific ways that they handled their own business.
What's your game, Snake? Why were you spying on us?
He kind of shrugs and says, "It's really not my place to say, but I just wanted to gather information. The people of Golden Fields were nice people. We're not looking to take advantage of them. In fact, that's why I'm here. Had they been rude or careless in their decisions, then perhaps this would be a very different conversation. But they've been good to me, and in turn, the Zentarum will be good to them."
How loud did he say that?
As he said that, the others around actually heard him say the Zentarum that time.
Hey, buddy, did you just say that you're a part of the Zentarum?
Yes, he absolutely said that. He has been he's been keeping tabs on us in the city, but it doesn't sound like he's out to cause any problems. He wouldn't want to make enemies of us now, would he?
He may not want to, but his group may. As I walk up and crack my knuckles a little, seeming a little more intimidating than normal.
As you do, give me an intimidation check. At first, he watches very carefully. His eyes get really big and pays very close attention to you, but then just kind of shrugs it off and says, "Listen, I don't know what ordeals you have had with the Centaurum in the past, but I can tell you I'm not one of those type."
Do you ever have any dealings with people in Nightstone? Or do you know anything about that?
He thinks and kind of looks at you and says, "The people in Nightstone would go through Waterdeep. If there was a Zentarum invasion coming to Nightstone, those would be the ones responsible. It's a little out of our way, don't you think?"
I mean, you're all
So-
part of the same group, aren't you?
So he operates from a different cell in Bargeright, but the concern is, what does Bargeright want with Golden Fields after his report?
He kind of points over to Keelan and says, "Yes, that's just it. We're only interested in Golden Fields, but more the people and the following and trying to get an understanding here. It's hard for us to get into the city here, and, well, to be honest, we just wanted to make sure that we were dealing with a decent organization of people, not like those in Nightstone."
What was wrong with the people in Nightstone? They seem pretty nice to us.
"Hey, thanks, Castle Mac, for the bits." He looks at you and says, "Well, I don't know the full details. Again, they operated out of Waterdeep. I can't tell you what those people were thinking. I just know that when they were looking at that city, it was a concern to them. The leadership, the organization that ran that city were a bit of a thorn in the side of our Waterdeep cell, and it was hard for them at times."
So do you intend to do the same to Golden Fields?
He shakes his head no, and in fact, after this recent dealings with the giants, I fully intend on giving nothing but positive things to say about the people here, especially individuals such as yourselves.
So you're gonna go tell
It-
your group that they're not to mess with Golden Field.
And he nods and
correct?
says, that is absolutely my plan."
Since
You're
we're heading in the same direction, it may be in our best interest to make sure that's exactly what he tells them.
I think that's a great idea.
You also need to tell them that our inn is the best place to get a drink.
Yes, yes, come to the inn. Give us more money.
Hey,
Pinches the bridge of her
Grand
nose
Cool.
and sighs.
Grand Cool. Leave out the last bit of that when
Give
you're
a
telling
shit.
people about our inn.
What? Money?
Yes, leave that out.
Why? We need money.
Yes, we do, but you don't want to. You don't tell people it. It's a whole
That doesn't make any
advertising
sense.
thing.
You're-
You don't tell people to give you money. If you hype up the whole inn and everything without telling them that you get the money for it, they're more likely to believe you and actually go there.
Okay.
Which in turn means we actually do get more money.
With that, Grinkle just shrugs. Okay, whatever. As long as I get money.
Yes, that's the whole plan.
So as this discussion goes on, Shalva's kind of nervously looking around, says, "Well, are you willing to escort me to Bargeright or not?"
Are you willing to tell them about our inn?
He nods and says, "Of course I will."
Is it okay with me?
It'd be best to make sure that Golden Fields is safe from his information.
Yes, as long as your report is not negative of Golden Field, to where the Zentarum won't do anything about it, like they did attempted to do to Nightstone.
As a show of faith, seeing that it appears the party is not fully convinced, you watch as Shalvis reaches down to his pocket and pulls out his notepad. As he does, he starts flipping through and he shows you the reports talking about the individual people in the village and the kindness of the leadership, and then mentions the terrible leadership style of Thunderblade, the guard captain. Then the more recent entries talking about your group coming to Golden Fields and how he watched to see everything you were doing, and a little questioning of you being there in the first place. And then he speaks very highly of your actions within the city. As he continues flipping through these pages, he says, that's literally everything that we have done since I have been here. I've only been here but a couple of weeks, but seeing your actions and the actions of the kind people here in Golden Fields, I can't help but to think that the Zentarum should protect this city, as it's very important to the people of the Sword Coast, and ourselves, of course.
I agree with that. I think it might be best to escort him then.
Sounds like we're all in agreement.
Okay,
Also, we may get some information from these people, from this group.
maybe. So, offering to take Chalice with you, are you having him walk? Are one of you offering him to ride on the horse with you? What are you doing?
I think Selja could use some help with the horse.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
That makes sense.
So yeah, he'll hop on to Selja's horse, and being a little more capable of handling the beast, you guys head out the southwest entrance and wrap around, following along the Desarn River, and that's where we're going to stop and take our break.
Cool.
Dude, I need to pee. I'll be right back.
I do too, and
So I definitely
Pizza
can't move
Pumper.
the speed of a horse shell. Just want
Wait,
y'all to know.
You guys can
damn
move
it.
at a slow pace if you want
Yeah,
to.
I can carry Nav without any
Yeah.
penalties because powerful
Yep.
will.
You
But
can carry yourself.
No, I mean Grankle. I can carry Grankle.
He's
I'm just not
carrying
as fast as a
he's
horse.
carrying the horse and keeping up.
Yep. All right, I will be
What a
right back.
boss.
All right, we're
Yeah,
going to take a 5-minute break.
He's doing the Cho'Gall
Uh,
thing from Heroes of the Storm, where he's the mount carrying the horse.
When we return, we'll continue our story of them heading north, supposedly heading towards Groodhog, but we'll see if that changes as they make their way out of the city. So stick around. We'll be back in 5 minutes, and then we'll continue our story.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
I was getting so distracted for the past 30 minutes. I had to pee real bad.
Oh, I was here and gone for that entire hour when we first started because I was still at work, and it's normally not busy, but for some reason it was just RP session, lots of information. Well, we're all just gonna come in one at a time, about 5 minutes apart, and you're not gonna hear any of it.
Always happens the one time you don't expect it to.
Yeah, it never fails. Also, yes, she is in her winter mode right now, so she is basically Marvin the robot.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Her positive trait is the worst case is most likely to occur, and her flaw is nothing matters to you, and you allow others to guide your actions.
Ooh, yes.
Sure. Why not?
It only lasts for a day. I have to roll it every morning after a long rest.
Still just here. Yay.
Hey, still just here.
Hey, I got home early.
Yeah.
Nice.
So basically, not a whole lot happened.
You get a
They
piece of
outlawed goblins. They outlawed goblins from Goldenfield.
Oh,
They just couldn't take the risk. You have a horse now, and you're riding with the one turkey guy. He's getting a little fresh there with you in the saddle.
I posted a really crappy unedited version of my notes that I haven't really worked on, but it'll give you a little bit of information.
I think it
Oh,
was
thank God! I've got to read that too.
I don't think Calder Marskill gave me the pendant.
No, Cardo Marsker's the butler. Like I
Yes.
said,
He's the
unedited
one-
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Z. I haven't. Like
Yeah.
I said, I haven't. I always
Z-
take really quick hand notes and then I go back and fix them afterwards.
Yes.
Right.
Z-Lang gave you the pendant, but yes.
Did she also give Karsnook the letter?
No, that was Oren. Oren gave Karsnook the
gotcha,
letter
gotcha.
asking him to take the letter to his sister. Hey, Pint and Pie, thank you very much for the follow. Very much
Follow
appreciate it,
hype.
friends. Yeah.
How do you spell her?
Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Slightly
Z.
edited notes.
Z. Z-I.
Z.I.
Z-I.
Yes, big events had happened. Miros was laid to rest. Z became captain of the town guard because the half-orc was a bitch and got slapped the fuck by Z, which was hilarious.
Dude.
Hey, I'm glad I kept her
I-
alive.
I wanted to. I was like, okay, I've got to give her a reason, and because if you guys remember when you first got to Golden Fields, the two were
was
fighting.
with them
Yeah,
already.
she was already arguing with him, warning him that something bad is going to happen, and then stormed off past you guys. So obviously, when this happened and it was like legit, and then the threat was gone, she's like, "Oh no, to hell with that! I'm going to show this guy," and then just walked up and literally just right across the face and dropped him.
I would absolutely have made her do that. So I'm
It was
super
glorious.
glad that happened.
Mm-hmm.
We were given several quests, essentially, told of different things going on. Maxine told us about possibly recruiting a kind dragon to help us in this fight against the dragons, but we need to visit a dragon expert
Right.
first in Waterdeep.
Yep.
Another thing in Waterdeep with Thon, the House of Thon in Waterdeep for Z's note. Daggerford, another deliverable. And then we knew from the large piece of parchment that's mentioned at the beginning of the notes, we found that on one of the giants from the southeast gate, or wall rather, that their home was in Gridhog, which is where we're currently heading off in the direction of, but Turkey Dude stopped us and wanted an escort to barge right in so we can report to his Zentrum buddies.
Yeah, we found out he was a Zentrum. Also, what was the name of the person who wanted Karsnook to deliver the letter?
That was Oren.
I
The-
hadn't had
the
that on
bard.
notes either. It was like someone gave Karsnook the letter because I don't no idea who it was.
He also gave you.
I'm just adjusting Nav's notes
Yep.
into my thing.
He also gave you 2 casks of the Golden Gulp Ale as well for your travels.
Nice. That will
And-
not make it to the inn.
And that did mention that you got the inn, right? Your
Oh
notes.
yeah, we own the inn now, by the way.
And the
Yeah.
cat.
Yay!
And the cat.
So, wait,
The cat
do
is
they
what
really not want goblins to be in the town
Oh
anymore?
no, that was a joke.
Okay, I was gonna say because
All right.
yay, other people get the end.
All right, let's focus now as you start.
I had one more question.
'Kay.
Before we continue.
Sure.
It's kind of a bookkeeping question. Did we get Team Cat back?
Yes.
Yes, we.
Yay!
Yes.
It's with you now, I think.
Yep. It is with you.
I have decided that we're going to flavor it that it is hiding in your pack, like sticks its head up out of your pack as you're like fighting and everything like that, and every now and then like wanders or kind of claws itself out and like walks on your shoulders and stuff like that.
So it's a Baldur's Gate familiar, basically.
Basically.
You just keep it in your pack the
Yeah.
entire time because
Yeah,
why
pretty
would you
much.
ever let that thing out?
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. I love it.
All right. So you make your way towards North Furrow Road and then turn around and go to the water's edge of the Desarin River. As you start making your way north, you reach the path of the river where it begins to Y, and then you pass a little further, and it Ys again. As the day starts to grow a little older, you notice the occasional fish jumping out of the water and various animals walking over and kind of drinking from the river itself. It's a bit of a serene feeling. But then as you continue to proceed north and you reach the second Y, you begin to take notice of a flock of very large birds circling up ahead. You notice that they repeatedly start diving down, attempting to pick something up out of the river itself. As you begin to close in on the item, you notice that these are giant seagulls that are attempting to retrieve something from the water. The birds screeching loudly and argue over this prize that they have found in the river and attempt to pull it out. And as they drop it onto the bank of the river, they begin to peck at one another and peck at this weird-looking thing that they have now drug out on the opposing side of the riverbank. As you look at it, you notice it's a 6-foot-long, somewhat opaque, white, cocoon-like container. These seagulls frantically pecking at it and one another, attempting to break the shell of the container. What would you like to do?
We can't tell, like how you said it's like 6 foot long. Looks
Yeah.
like
It's
person shaped, or
Give me a perception check.
okay.
I'm also going to do a
They're
perception.
hungry and trying to eat somebody.
Definitely need help with this.
Hey, get those nat ones out of the way.
Nav and
Selja.
Selja, yeah, that's fine. Nav and Selja, as you're looking, this 100% looks like the size of a human body.
I will turn to Grinkle. I think there's somebody who got stuck by a spider. Now the birds are trying to eat him.
Huh. That's weird.
Circle of life, I say. Sunrise, sunset.
Is it move? Like, is the figure moving at all, or are they just like pecking at it and it's just kind of like limply going along with it?
It's just there. As the giant seagulls continue to peck at it, you're noticing like their beaks are trying to pierce in through. It's almost like a shell at this point. And as it continues to peck, you're noticing it's not moving at all, whatever it is.
Oh, whatever it is, it's probably dead or really good at laying still. I'm gonna try a nature check to see if these giant seagulls seem natural.
Okay.
If it's a person, they might have something
Ooh,
on
baby.
them.
Yeah, they seem pretty natural, especially here on the Sword Coast. Even being as
okay.
far off of the Sword Coast as you are, it doesn't seem too out of place for them to be here.
So giant seagulls are just a thing.
They're just a thing.
Okay.
Yep.
So I totally know about giant seagulls.
Yep.
I know everything about giant seagulls. And clearly, giant seagulls have the ability to cocoon their prey something,
No.
obviously. Clear. No, of course not.
You're a druid. That checks out.
Yeah, so like all of this, none of this makes sense to me. Okay, so
It makes
all right,
sense.
so I'm gonna look at.
It makes sense to you that you would see giant seagulls, but it does not make sense to you to see this like cocoon-shaped container.
Okay, so the seagulls, they're fine. They're just doing their stuff. But that thing, that's got nothing to do with them. That they must have found that. So something made that.
Actually, Selja, off of your nature check, as you're looking, you notice this cocoon is not the product of any natural beast.
Yeah, that's not natural. That's something else.
Something like
Not something I don't know. It's not from a creature or an animal or anything of nature.
Let's go look at it.
Okay.
yes, I agree. Let's see what horrors they might be pecking at.
Okay. So you can cross the river. You'll have to give me a dex save to make sure that you stay on your feet as you're crossing the river here. It's not too deep, so you should be able to make it across.
I'm riding Nav. Do I get advantage?
You will not have to if you're riding Nav.
Can I have
Excellent.
Nav pick me up?
Maybe? Sure. Yes, we will let that happen.
So it just like walks up to him and just kind of like extends her arms in the air.
Like, pick me up like a little kid.
Up, goblin,
Exactly,
up.
absolutely.
Nav's gonna pick her up Lion King style.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put her up in the air and walk across the river.
Awesome.
All right.
This is happening. She's too high. Grakel's like, hey, lower than me. Lower her down a little bit. There you go. Perfect.
So you're able to make your way across, and as you do, these seagulls start turning to you and become aggressive as they kind of dart forward and jab their beaks in your direction, trying to peck at you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna shoot one in the face.
Okay. Yeah, that hits. So as you cast this firebolt in the direction of the closest giant seagull that's in front of you, it hits it square in the face, and as it does, it kind of flinches back, and it almost like its neck spins around so quick that it like drops to the ground, like it almost snapped its neck in half from hitting it so hard. The others kind of back down, like they lower their heads a bit and start backing away. And as you continue to approach, they suddenly begin to fly away, feeling a bit threatened by your presence here.
Yeah, you better run. That's mine.
Well, at least we had dinner now.
As you begin to approach, you notice that this cocoon-like container has been ruptured. And as you take a peek inside, you see what appears to be a pudgy, naked, unconscious young man with translucent and slimy skin, covered in several inches of grimy water.
Well, that's not what I expected to see.
Really, it's actually kind of what I expected.
That's kind of gross.
That's
You
really
you
gross.
expected to see a slimy, pudgy, naked boy?
Yes.
Is it a boy or a man?
What?
Young. From what you can see, you can't see very well yet, because the person's still trapped within this thing. But from what you can tell, they're certainly not old. Their skin, even though it's this translucent and kind of slimy coating, it looks very taut, like a child would be.
Grinkle,
Yeah.
you should let him out, and then he'll follow you.
Whoa, more followers.
He's dead.
Yeah, or Grankle doesn't care. Pops off the back of Nav and walks over and tries to find a way to open this cocoon.
Okay. You could probably crack it open. taking a knife or something and being kind of careful. You could probably crack through this cocoon surface that surrounds him.
Could I make a check to see if he's alive?
Yeah, once you get him freed, you could give me a medicine check.
Cool.
So
All
I'm just
right.
cracking with the pommel of a dagger. Hey, hello? Are you awake? Hey, I'm getting you out. I'm Grankle, by the way.
So yeah, after a few minutes, you're able to kind of pry through, carefully kind of breaking away this shell. As you begin to free this young man, he lays somewhat lifeless on the ground. Go ahead and give me your medicine check.
Yep, totally dead.
Man. As you look at him, he doesn't appear dead, but he just looks strange. After laying there kind of unconscious for a few minutes, he suddenly springs to life with a bit of a shuddering breath. He opens his eyes, these stark blue colored eyes, kind of gasps for air, kind of lying on the ground motionless. Otherwise, he's just letting the consciousness take hold of him. After a few minutes, he kind of speaks up. Well, where am I?
Congratulations, you've been rescued. You're on the river.
With a bit of a kind of broken voice, he looks up at you, a confused expression on his face. Wait, who are you? What have you done to me?
I'm
Grankle
Q&A.
just
We
shoves
cut you
his
out.
hand. Grankle just shoves his hand over towards him. I'm Grankle. I broke you out of there. You're welcome.
We freed you from a watery fate and being devoured by seagulls. Show a little more gratitude.
He kind of shakes his head. None of this makes sense. Last I remember, I was in Yatar. I don't remember any of this. And then he kind of looks around and looks down and notices he's completely naked. He immediately starts covering himself and looks at everybody and begging for clothing of some sort.
Q&A wiggles her eyebrows once he notices.
It's like 13.
Little weird.
It's still hilarious.
I don't think we have any clothes for him. I'm going to turn to the man we're escorting. Do you have anything in his eyes?
I think maybe he's a somewhat chunkier kid. He could probably fit into dwarves' clothing. I believe
Arsnook, take off your
Arsnook.
clothes.
Karsnook may have like just some like commoner's clothes. Let me look.
We robbed Karsnook of his clothes.
You don't need these. Give me.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your mount.
No,
Now that's
he does
not fair. Hold on. All right, Karsnook, if you don't want us to take your clothes, say something. All right.
He does not
All right.
have any clothes in his pack.
He has that fancy cloak he could take off, though.
Lucas, do you have any on you?
Um,
Like
I
commoner's
might.
clothes or anything?
hold on.
Okay, well, Selja has a cloak as part of her outfit, so I'll just say that she like takes that off and gives it to him to wear.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, so he takes the cloak and kind of covers himself really quickly with it. Still a bit lost in all of this.
It's a tad short, too, I imagine.
Yeah, it like goes to his knees, just about.
It's
You
like a
know.
bath towel.
Yeah, it's like a bath
Yeah.
towel.
So as he's
Uh,
wrapping himself, Grankle's gonna lean for it. So, who are you?
he kind of clears his throat and kind of shakes his head a bit, feeling a bit out of it still. Says, "I'm Lord Artan Rosolio. Last I remember, I was at the Rosolio Manor, getting ready for a night out on the town. I have no idea why I'm here. Why am I here?" And he starts like panicking again.
And I,
Hey, calm down, calm
yeah.
down.
He
Yeah,
identified
before
himself
he
as a
can say.
lord?
Yeah, can I history check on his lordship and Yatar?
You can.
I'm also gonna history because apparently I'm skilled in history. So
Nav would history, but he has no idea where guitar is.
apparently I stole a book from
you apparently
Dagger.
No, you-
From I
apparently
stole a
know
book from
everything
Nightstone.
about.
You stole it from Candlekeep. You just were that good.
Yes, the Rosolio family has been in the business of barge building for many years, and out of the city of Yatar, which is known as a water-based kind of port of call, so to speak. His family has made a good fortune making very finely crafted barges. His family is pretty well known through the Desarin Valley. More specifically, his mother, who has kind of financed all of this.
Where
He's
is all
from
this?
Yar-
Oh, wait, it's up there.
Tar?
Yartar, yes, up here.
Way
Jesus.
up
He
there.
floated for fucking ever.
Yeah, he went a ways, bro. He went. All right, so now I need to. Okay, how am I gonna? Okay, so Selja will tell this story, and she'll be. So, after my
Oh shit,
tribe
that's far.
totally kicked me out for no good reason, I was wandering for a bit, and then I heard about these people, and they make really good barges, and they're really, really good at it. And he's apparently the son of a really influential noble.
As you say this, he kind of nods and says, yes, this is true. And hopefully you can get me back to Yartar as fast as possible. My mother will give you more gold than you have ever seen if you return me.
Well, about that, we were on our way to go see some giants. Would you like a field trip to see some? We promise you won't die.
He kind of
We
shakes
don't
his...
promise that.
He kind of shakes his head and says, No. I want no part of giants. I can't. No. Do I look the kind of individual who get my hands dirty in these kind of situations?
No, but
Nope.
the exercise might do you some good.
Oh, you look pretty dirty right now.
So this guy's really short, huh?
Yeah, he's a
Short and
younger
pudgy.
kid, yeah.
Short and
Short and
pudgy,
pudgy.
and is terrified of doing anything. Can I history check to see if Arvon ended up impregnating this lord lady?
I could tell you it did not happen.
Okay, just making sure.
Jeez.
References that I
He
References.
Okay, so he doesn't want to go to the Giants.
doesn't, and he kind of grabs onto his head. He's trying to recall the events, and just as he thinks of things, he just kind of shakes his head and says, No, none of this makes sense to me.
So you don't know how you ended up cocooned?
He says no and kind of looks at the party and says, I remember a golden goose, but I can't quite place it.
I'm sorry, what? A golden goose?
Oh god, that's a far distance.
He nods and says, I mean, well, obviously it couldn't have actually been a golden goose, although that wouldn't be the weirdest thing that I've seen at a party in Yotar. Not that I expect any of you individuals to understand. You don't exactly look like socialites to me.
What do we
Well-
look like to you?
How dare you? I happen to be very social.
As you say
Also-
that, Keelan, he looks directly at you and says, well, of course, with the exception of you.
Oh,
wow.
see, there. And that almost gets a smile, but it's still just that dour frown, and it's like, well, see, now you are a man of taste.
Kind of chuckles
Very
and says,
weird.
I remember a woman. Very, very beautiful woman.
Oh.
Black hair, gorgeous purple dress. I don't recall her name. Perchance she never told it to me to begin with.
I couldn't imagine why.
I mean, if she was planning on sticking you in a cocoon,
It sounded like they were trying to get rid of you.
A couple more minutes pass, and he kind of sits here again, frantically, just like he's trying to sort all this out, and says, "My mother must be worried sick. Please, take me to Yotar as fast as possible. I swear to you, she will pay.
Well, we
Nav's gonna say,
That's a really long detour.
no. You can go to Barge Right Inn with us. From there, you can figure out how to get home.
You wait, no. I mean, getting rid of this kid is fine, but you want to leave him with the Zentarum?
It'll be fine.
He kind of shakes his head. No. Please, you must take me to Yotar.
why
Alright.
must we take you?
I mean, he did say he was going to pay us. Just so that
And at this point, just so we're absolutely 100% clear on this, the fact that he said, we'll pay you with more gold than you've ever seen has instantly gotten Karsnook's attention, and he's all for taking this kid there. He doesn't
Yeah,
care.
I just ignore Karshnook.
All right, so
As
You're just normal.
just so that I'm on the same page, so we're currently going to Barge Right?
Yes.
We're going to Barge Right as a
Okay.
drop off for the one goat herder guy.
Okay.
And we
Turkey
were going to Grudhog, which is where the giants were.
Okay. So
That may change instead of Grudhog to Yartar, so we can actually
Yeah, Yartar is a huge detour.
so we can actually finance this whole thing though.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. That's like, all right. That's 66 miles.
And the problem is he doesn't want us to go anywhere else. He's not willing to come with us to the
well-
other spots.
Well, my thought is, hold on.
Yes.
Well, how
See
about?
which way is faster.
No, I'll say it in character. How about because we're trying to get to Grudhog, right? So why don't we go to the Barge Right Inn, and then would you be okay staying there? I'll even let you borrow the team's cat so that you have company until we go to Grudhog and then come back to get you, and then we can go to Yatar.
He just kind of shrugs and says, I don't care what it takes, just get me to Yotar.
Well, then there you go.
I think that's the safest thing then. But you'd probably not want to tell anyone who you are, where you're from, while there. And then she's going to look over to what's his name and be like, and nobody's going to know who he is.
And you look over to Shalvis, and he's just not even looking. He's looking the opposite way.
If I don't see him, I don't have to report anything.
God, I hope that's what he's doing.
He
I
does
mean,
too. It
he's
is
a-
He didn't
unfortunate.
respond to that
No,
question.
he completely ignored
Okay.
it.
Okay.
He's just like not even paying you any attention.
Well, I think that's probably our best bet. I don't think he's gonna wander off, because I don't think he.
Oh, he's
pretty
too
sure
scared to wander off,
I'm
aren't
pretty-
you, Tubby?
I think he's probably pretty aware that we're his best chance at getting home.
Nav's going to kind of poke his stomach with the end of his halberd.
So mean. Yeah, you get this sneaking suspicion he doesn't care. He just wants to get there. Quickly.
We'll get you home. You'll just have to wait for us to finish with what we need to do. And then we'll make sure you get there safely.
Okay. So as you look over your map, you have found two possible paths. Knowing that you're heading towards Barge Right Inn, you could detour, obviously, head towards the Desarn Road, and make your way over to Grudhog. Or should you wish to take care of things with him first, you could always take the Charon Road and to the Long Road, and then make your way up to Evermore Way and reach Atar, or possibly just take the river straight there. There are plenty of choices ahead.
Do we have a time limit to get to Grudhog?
As of right now, you have no time limits to anything. It's kind of... You recognize that these giant attacks are not... They're not ramping up in the number like you would anticipate. Like if this was like something that was like super urgent that had to be taken care of right now. They're just coincidentally happening in the places that you're going to.
If we're not pressed to go to Grudhog, we could go to Bartrite and then just go up to Yatar so that we can finance things, and then we can go down to Grudhog.
On the way back.
Wrong financing.
Us, I suppose. I'll go along with whatever. That does seem like a smart idea. We're not
Well,
wasting time.
we could also get the barge right, and then they could have news of anything going on in Grudhog, so we could be able to tell if it's more urgent than we expect it to be.
Nav, you see, the finance allows you to be able to kill giants even better.
That makes sense. I see why financing is important.
Yes. It allows you to kill stuff better and have more food.
More food is
If we-
fine. He's terribly expensive to feed.
I know it's a long way. If I get hungry, I could always eat him.
No.
No,
Then we
no.
don't get the money.
We need him to get money, so you can't eat him.
We'll find you stuff to eat and whatnot
Okay.
along the way.
Well, I guess we should go to the inn first.
As he's saying that, I'll
mean,
reach over and grab the stupid seagull that I plummeted out of the air and hand it to Nav. Here, eat this.
How big is this seagull compared to me?
It is like half your size.
Jesus,
Okay.
that's a big bird.
a big bird.
That's a big
They're
seagull.
big birds.
Nav
Like a
is going
freaking
to
albatross.
gruesomely twist its head off and rip its wings off and then start plucking it and start walking.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So you're continuing north, heading to the Bartrite Inn. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
because we got to get rid of what's his name and make sure Golden Field is gonna get attacked by the Tarum.
All right. As you start walking,
Also on
about
the way.
5 minutes has passed since you had freed Lord Artan from this cocoon, and you get about 5 or 6 minutes into your trek, and you suddenly hear Lord Artan shout in just immense pain. He immediately jumps off of the horse, almost falling, then quickly runs towards the river, jumping back into it. As soon as his body hits the water, a look of relief falls upon his face as his body is completely submerged.
Wait,
What's wrong with him?
are you okay over there, buddy?
No, I don't know what happened. One minute I was fine, and the next I felt like I was dying. Like, for a moment, my skin felt the coolness of the water. I felt immediate relief, but outside of it, I felt like dying.
Are you like part fish?
You can give me a wisdom medicine check.
Oh, I guess I can do that. But I got to back up if this doesn't work out.
He's completely part fish.
Selja, as you and Keelan are looking over his body, you notice that his skin, that kind of translucent color to it, it's very unnatural, almost as if produced by some sort of magic or a disease.
Ooh, I'm super glad I prepared this.
Yes. So as you take about 10 minutes to kind of look him over, you watch as he kind of, pull him out of the water and set him down and take a look at him. You start to give him a good look, and then just as you're finishing your preparations, he immediately runs and jumps back into the water again. As you look him over, you definitely sense what appears to be some kind of disease has riddled his skin. And as you're trying to pay a little closer attention to it, you're noticing that it's actually starting to burn his skin, almost like acid. And every so often, if he's out of the water or doesn't have water coating his skin, it starts to burn and eat away at him.
So he needs to be in water because he has, and she whispers very quietly because she's well aware that this kid is super excitable. He's got a disease.
Do we need to put him down? And she starts reaching for her sword.
No, probably not.
Oh.
As long as we keep him in the water, he should be fine, but I don't know what it is, and if I don't know what it is, then I certainly can't cure it.
Well, we found him traveling down the river, so if we just follow it back up, we can, tie a rope to him and keep him partially submerged.
Well, the spell says that you identify the kind.
Oh, do I? You can also spell computer. Sensitive. You also identify. Oh, right. So I identify what this disease is.
You believe this disease to be an aboleth's tentacle.
It's an aboleth's tentacle.
What it's called.
Oh, aboleth. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Tentacle.
that's not good at all.
Neb shakes his head. I have no what that is.
Do I know what an aboleth is? And if I don't, what kind of check would be a good check to
I
tell?
think it would be Arcana since it's an aberration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that thing, I
It's
have
not
no
good at
idea.
all.
Keelane 100% knows what an aboleth is.
Aboleth is an underwater aberration. They're a type of alien intelligence and quite dangerous. The fact that this child was even struck by one is concerning.
This is a weird day. Okay, so I know what the disease is.
Mhm.
Do I have any idea what it would take to cure it?
You, as you're kind of thinking on this a bit, you come to the realization that you don't know enough to be able to cure it. You know enough to make it subside and keep it from harming him, but again, he almost has to crawl through the water or be doused in water all the time just to make sure that he doesn't die from this condition.
Quick, somebody roll a paladin.
I mean, he could just swim him.
Maybe someone in Barge Right will know how to ease his suffering. As loath as we may be to call upon the Zentarum.
Well, if I can have the night, I believe I can prepare a spell that will be able to cure it, but I need to prepare it, and it will take me a night.
Well, it sounds like he's swimming on our journey.
Yeah.
What if we
and-
get a
Go ahead.
What if we had a horse on each side of the river, and then he could just be drug along?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing you have to remember is it's continual to him. This
Right.
poison effect or this acid-like effect that's eating at his skin is nonstop. So even if you stop for an evening, he's never going to rest. He will never rest in this pain.
Okay, so we need a long rest, during which he's going to be in complete agony. But
mhm.
We could tie him to a piece of rope, on a tree or a rock, so he can stay in the water at least.
I mean, he could probably just sit in it. I mean, assuming we can find a shallow part of the river.
Yeah, and I mean, we probably should make some progress up the river first before stopping.
Yeah.
Give him water wings.
I mean, yeah. But yes, Selja can prepare lesser restoration, but I didn't prepare it today.
Mm-hmm. So,
So I would need to, take a nap. Oh wait, no shit, I do have it prepared. My bad. I was looking at level 1 spells.
That's a horse of a different color.
Yeah, so I do have that prepared. So never mind everything I just said. Stelja is actually going to, let's see, it's an action. So Selja will walk up to him, take her staff, and then bonk him on the head, and then cast Lesser Restoration.
okay. 1 second. I have to verify one thing.
If you cure this disease, it kills them.
Yeah. One second. Okay. So, as you cast this, what level spell is Lesser Restoration?
It is a level 2. So
Okay. As you cast this, you feel or you watch as his skin, this translucent color, starts to go away slightly. But it's not enough. You feel like what you have done has helped, but it's only helped in the means of giving him a longer duration between times that he needs to be in the water. It didn't quite cure the disease, as it's not nearly as powerful as it would need to be able to clear it.
all right, so this is beyond me then. Like I can help, but I can't fix.
Yeah, so at this point, while you're kind of watching, you notice from your interaction so far that it's basically every 10 minutes that he's like, after 10 minutes, he's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm dying. And as you guys continue up the road, you kind of, you perform this, this lesser restoration spell on him, kind of placing your hands on him and trying to cure this condition. You get about an hour in before he immediately does the same thing, jumping off of the horse and rushing back to the water. And you're unable to fully cure it, but you feel you're able to buy yourself some extra time, making travel a little bit easier on you to move forward towards Yartar.
We're gonna need someone who's a little more powerful than that in order to cure that. And yeah, that's beyond my means right now. So we will have to find someone who knows how to cure this or has enough magic to do it.
Well, that's not good, but at least it got us a little bit further.
Yeah. I don't know how he's gonna be able to sleep.
He probably will not.
Yeah, he's definitely not gonna be able to sleep like this. And yeah, that might have tipped the urgency towards getting him home a little bit, I think. Selja just laughs awkwardly and just kind of shuffles back behind Nav.
It also kind of limits the path that we can take.
Oh yes, we're gonna have to go up the river, where
Oh, for
whatever
sure.
happened to him certainly is waiting.
Hopefully, somebody in Bardrite can help, though.
Maybe.
We'll have to see what sort of temples whatever they have.
We'll just have to keep moving.
Is there even a source of water towards Bardrite?
I think it's right on the river.
that keeps going onto the river. Yeah, for some reason I saw it, and then I thought Bardrite was the little patch of hills
Oh.
underneath but no, now I see the
Yeah,
dot, so.
you're like a mile from the river within Barge right in.
Okay. Hopefully they have baths.
Or
Oh, there
he
we
just-
there we go. Just dump them in a tub.
Or we just stay at the river and a couple of us
Well-
stay with him.
Well, guys, idea. If we get to the inn, maybe we can buy a cart and like a really big barrel and fill it and just have him sitting in the barrel.
That would work.
That would work.
I'm not carrying him.
Well, I mean, Nav.
Well, no, we would put the barrel in the cart.
And we have horses.
Yeah. Since we have horses, we would just hitch 2 horses to the cart.
But Nav,
I don't want to carry him.
you can carry the cart.
If Nav is carrying a cart, he can't protect me. Priorities.
But it would be so cool.
Okay. Yeah. go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I guess we're sticking by the river for this whole trip.
Okay.
And hopefully not find an aboleth.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. We can take it.
Fine. So yeah, you can continue north, needing to stop just about every hour for him to kind of douse himself, trying to keep it on a timer to ensure that it's just under that hour and he's not going to feel the pain of it. He kind of douses himself and kind of shakes his head along the way. Just, this is so humiliating. As you continue north and make your way towards Barge Right, and you can get there with no issues aside from that has now presented itself with the young boy that you're taking with you. You make your way towards Barge Right Inn, and Shalvis kind of perks up, recognizing the area, and kind of guides you a little bit. Offering to escort you to the inn itself, or if you wanted to leave people behind, you are welcome to do so.
Once we get close, how long has it been since his last dip?
We'll say that as you get close enough to it and you see that Shalvis is kind of pointing out which direction to go, you tell the boy to turn back and kind of jump back into the river or coat his skin so that he's now going to mitigate it for the next hour.
That should be
Also-
enough to secure.
Also, just for curiosity's sake, and because it might be important, is this disease contagious?
It is not contagious.
Okay.
At least
just
not
making-
from what you're seeing. It doesn't appear to be contagious.
All right. So
If it was, when you put your hand on him to do lesser restoration, it would have traveled onto you.
Yeah. I realized I probably should have asked
Sell to ask
before I
yours
did.
later.
I should have asked before I did a touch spell.
Mm-hmm.
But
But it's okay.
yeah, it's a weird day.
You do know.
I mean, it is contagious if you touch the aboleth.
Apparently.
True. You do know that from where you are, it's roughly a mile from the riverbanks to Barge Right Inn itself. The 1 mile trek is roughly a half an hour on horse. So you'll have to decide if you want to take him, then you need to load up on the horses, kind of make your way there as quickly as possible, and then find a way to secure water for him. Or you can just dump your water skins on him and keep him from falling apart. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Half an
so-
hour should be enough time to secure something, though.
I think we need to find an inn, get a room,
You're headed to
We're
an inn.
going to one.
find a tub, and put him in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna think we're very dirty when we walk in.
Oh,
We
definitely.
need a tub.
Also, remind me to prepare, create food and water, so that I could just have water to dump on him.
All right, so
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit.
start making your way there. This once hilltop wayside inn is now the site of a small walled community of ramshackle, frequently rebuilt wooden towers and other buildings. The structures now entirely cloak a hill that overlooks the village of Womford, Womford, across the Desarin River, the one over here. A long wooden bridge wide enough for a single wagon to cross spans the river between the two settlements. This bridge, known as the Ironford Bridge, has stood for centuries, but is currently beginning to show its age. Barge-right Inn reeks of manure and filthy mud. Its houses Its houses deliver who buy and sell horses, manure, mules, oxen, other blacksmiths, wheelwrights, coppers, and wagon makers. It has a couple inns, a few stables, and some more warehouses, with two concentric rings of high walls as gates that are barred at nighttime. You're arriving somewhat late. It hasn't quite been barred off just yet, though. The largest inn is the Old Barge-right, which was recently rebuilt as a substantial stone structure with very thick walls and private chambers hidden behind some secret doors. The innkeeper, Nalskar, the individual that you are there to meet, keeps watch over who comes and goes within the inn, and offers most individuals room and board should they pay a handsome price for it. As you begin making your way into the inn, Shalvis immediately walks up to Nalaskor. I can't pronounce these names to save my life. And after handing him the report, Shalvis quickly takes his leave, stepping out of the inn and leaving you to speak with the guy that you now believe to be the leader of the Zentarum here in the city. A bit grateful for your assistance, Nalaskar offers each of you a warm dinner and clean beds for a night, free of charge, of course.
Do you have a barrel that we can fill with water and not have to answer questions why?
As you ask him
Well,
this,
that wasn't suspicious at all.
he definitely kind of raises an eyebrow to you and says, well,
Let's be honest, I'm a goblin. Nothing I ask is not going to get an eyebrow raise.
he's like, well, you did bring Shalvis here and didn't harm him in any way. I suppose we can speak to maybe one of the blacksmiths can give you a barrel large enough, depending on the size, of course.
You have to spit a portly child in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm the suspicious sounding one.
No, I just don't feel like lying to him.
Yes, we have someone who needs a bath constantly. Every hour. Don't ask. He rolls around in the mud a lot.
See how difficult being honest was.
What's wrong with rolling around in the mud?
Well, it's fine when you do it, Nav.
He kind of nods and says, yes, go see one of the blacksmiths. I'm sure they can help you. Then kind of points you out. You look over in the center of the town and see what appears to be a couple of blacksmith stables a few that appear to have large enough containers that you could maybe fit the young man inside of.
Is there a temple in this tiny little collection of buildings also?
Not here, no. Most of the buildings here are pretty run down, and had there been a temple, it's probably been gone for many, many years.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You see the village across the river?
Yeah,
Yes.
Wormford would potentially have one.
I can go with Grinkle to Womford while y'all find him a barrel of water. We can see if there's a temple.
I'm not sure that's the best idea.
You're right. I'll go with them. That way, it will look completely on the up and up.
Yeah, let's send 2 goblins.
Well, that's not a good idea. I don't understand.
I don't
One
get
of
it.
who thinks he's a god.
People love
to
me.
Another temple.
Or would it be easier if I go?
I think it'd be better if the 2 of us went. Yes.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Thinks he's a god. Grinkle has quadrupled the amount of followers he has.
I have.
He's obviously a god. He made himself younger.
I did.
The people of Wamsford will recognize this.
They will.
Wemford.
As
That's what I
you
said.
as you pronounce it, the individual, what is his name? God, this guy's name, man. Nalaskar. As he hears you pronounce it, he kind of chuckles and he says, No, we just refer to it as Wormsford.
Oh, so here's an odd question for you. Have there ever been any cases that you've heard of where someone needs to go dunk themselves in water because of a disease that they have?
As you ask this, he kind of shakes his head and says, No, I can't recall anything of the sort. Why would you ask such a question?
You know, stuff.
Research.
I'm a goblin.
He says, Listen, I've already offered you free room and board, food on the house, and for some odd reason, I've also agreed to give you a barrel full of water. What more do you need from us?
I was just curious if you've heard anything, that's all. Do people talk to innkeepers?
I don't think he's in. I think he runs that weird gang.
Oh.
Team Zentarum or something.
You're both right.
Oh. Nav, you're right.
You're right, too. Does that make him the worst innkeeper ever or the worst gang leader ever?
Neither.
Huh. Selja looks very contemplative of this. And she's too nice to... I'm not even going to say it. Okay, so... Yeah, so... Do they have a temple in Wormford?
He thinks, knowing that he doesn't go to Wormford very often, kind of shrugs his shoulders a bit and says, I can't quite recall. It's been quite some time, and let's be honest, Arik Stillmarsh wouldn't really care too much for temples and such.
Oh, wait. There you go. Lucas,
What's
you and Villanay
what's
wanna
so
go.
bad about that town over there?
He looks at you and says, well, it's a bit more run down than it is here. It's just a tiny village. There's not much left. But obviously you're welcome to go and visit should you so choose.
Not much left? What happened to it?
He kind of shrugs and says, time, perhaps? Poor management of the village itself. There's just a couple of granaries left within the village and a few cottages, there may be a place for you to perform your religious duties, but honestly, it wouldn't make too much of a difference if you do it here, now would it?
Oh, it's I'm just looking for somebody that a cleric sort of person, someone that heals.
He kind of smiles and says, "No, I can assure you there would be no person of the like over in Wormsford. If anything, you'll find a building still standing, but no people."
Well, what about here?
And again, he shakes his head and says, "No, there's not even a temple in our city."
So if your people need healing, where do they go?
He kind of motions northwest and says, "Well, generally we would send them to Red Larch. It's a bit up the road, but it's the best that we have to offer for now."
Oh boy, this is turning into a big trip.
How long does it take to get there?
That is a good question.
It is still technically on the way, though.
Yes,
It is.
and if we get them healed, we can travel by the road the rest of the way.
He
Yeah,
says,
but
We could ask the C team to heal him.
Haha.
he kind of looks at you and says, "By horse, probably a day's worth of travel."
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm sorry.
He does say, as you're sitting here kind of mentioning all of this, he clears his throat and says, "I do have a proposition, though, if you're interested."
What is this?
Well, I have men making their way up to Mornbrine's Shield. It's along the Desarin Valley up north. Should you escort them, possibly at least helping them to ensure that they make it past Tribor without a hitch, they will allow you to ride with them. Safety in numbers and such. You can ride amongst their wagon and anything that you may need. I mean, you are asking for a barrel after all. Perhaps you can fit it within the wagon and take it with them.
Why do they need to get by Tribor unnoticed?
I mentions the rumors of giant attacks and things of the like, and says, "I don't know that sending my men through the city of Tribor alone would be wise of me to do."
Giant attacks at Tribor?
And he nods and says, "Yes, indeed. There's rumors that there have been some giants that hit the village there. Supposedly fire giants."
Fire
I like
giants
fire giants.
in Tribor. Whew.
Where is Tribor?
It's
Just up the road on the west side of where we are.
yeah, because
To-
Red
To
Larch.
the west of Yartar.
Yep. Red Larch, Westbridge,
Oh.
and Tribor.
And
So
then
they'll take us as far as there. Then we
more.
just
He
go
no.
to
He
the yard.
They
mentioned
want us to go past Yartar into another area.
Yeah,
he
they
just
want to go
wants
to.
he just wants to ensure that they get through Tribor without any trouble. They're heading up to Mornbrine's Shield, which is to the north of Yartar.
And so these guys are Zens. Like, I believe.
Yeah,
The-
absolutely.
This
So
guy
where-
is this guy. You can definitely tell he's in the Zentarum, but he's mentioning something as he kind of tells you about this this group that you're going to go with. They are brewers that basically they're sending a wagon of beer to the city of Mornbrian Shield.
Uh-huh.
All right, but they better not confuse our barrier with theirs.
All right, so that we're all
Ours
on
is
this.
better.
So we're all on the same page. All right, we have a kid who needs to be submerged in water every hour.
Yes.
We will not find any clerical aid here. There might be some in Red Larch.
Yes.
This guy is offering to allow us to travel with his brewers and their wagon, so long as we bring them through Tribor all the way to Mornburn Shield, and that path will take us all the way through Yatar, where we want to have this kid dropped off anyway. This takes us a significantly far away from Grudhog, but we just learned that there's fire giant activity in Tribor, and that's kind of our deal right now is giants.
More importantly, it takes us even further from Waterdeep.
The one thing I disagree with is the whole finding him a healer. If this thing is going all the way to Yartar, we don't necessarily have to find him one. It can be his mom's problem.
I mean, yeah, totally. But if we're going through Red Larch and there is a temple in Red Larch,
I'm saying we can ask around.
Yeah, no,
If
absolutely.
it comes up, we just keep moving.
Since we
I'm not gonna
have
search
a
very hard.
wagon now,
I
it's
kind of have to.
less
Well,
of an issue.
first, let's see what happens when we dunk him in. Like, let's make sure that it doesn't have to be like fresh running water that he needs to be in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure it's just water.
Yeah,
Alright.
if it's just water, then we can totally take them up on this, assuming that everybody's cool with like working with a known Zentarum.
This is
I think
fine.
they're perfectly pleasant
The
people.
last Zentarum who had problems with us isn't around, so if they don't want any problems, I don't want any problems.
All right, I'm fine.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm plain or neutral. I'm just making sure.
Okay.
I would like to ask him. The only thing we need to do is make sure we get them through Tribor, correct? We don't necessarily have to go all the way to Mornbryn Shield, do we?
He nods and says that is the agreement. I just need to ensure that they make it through Tribor. Anywhere beyond that is completely up to you. Should you want to hop off as you exit Tribor, you are more than welcome to.
Oh, well, that's even better.
Perfect.
But
Was
yeah,
there
they're
a
gonna
reason
go
we
through
wanted to go to?
Yartar anyway? So
Was there a reason we wanted to go to Waterdeep?
Yes.
We had other quests down that way, but
we have quests in
basically-
Waterdeep and
It's the
Daggerford.
dragon
Yeah, we figured
expert.
we would just loop around.
In Waterdeep, it's the dragon expert and the pendant that
Letter.
I have to deliver.
And there's a letter in Daggerford. We were going to go north and then loop around all the way back, but we keep getting pushed further and further north.
Oh, think of it like this: we're not. The plan isn't changing. The loop is just getting a little bigger.
Yes, it's just taking longer to get around the loop.
All right, so I don't have any problem with this, but let's dunk him in the barrel first, and then see where we are from there.
Okay. So you go over to one of the blacksmiths and kind of speaking with him, you're able to convince him that the Nalaskar has offered to give you guys a barrel. And as he walks over, a little quizzically, grabbing onto the barrel and bringing it over, he just kind of rolls it over to you. It's completely empty. And just kind of walks away, just like, okay, whatever, just fine, take it. You take it back to the inn and begin to fill this up with water. And as you do, you have second, hold on, I don't have all of my handouts open. You have the young Lord Artan step inside of it, and as he does, again, he feels that same soothing sensation that he had felt before. Kind of sits in the water and just sits there for a minute and says, well, I suppose if I don't have to get out of this, then I don't have to worry about clothes either.
You can keep the cloak. I'll just make a new one.
We should also probably try and make sure you have something in case you do have to get out of the barrel.
And he nods and says, yes, that would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Do you think you could get some rest while staying like that?
He would try. Being obviously in a barrel upright is going to be a little uncomfortable, but he's certainly going to try to.
Better than a river.
I
It
mean,
is
yeah,
better
it's
than
like
running in a river the whole time.
Yeah, I mean the alternative is like we tie a rope to him and Nav, and just have Nav walk up the river. So
Mm-hmm.
okay, all right, so he can do that. So that's fine.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get some help in Red Large. Yeah, so I'm I'm cool with taking up on this cart expedition, assuming everybody else is.
Yeah, it seems like it'll be fine.
So yeah, as you kind of settle in for the night, again, Nalaskar kind of offers his inn to you guys to rest and free food and things of that nature. You're able to do so. Nothing strange happens. However, as you wake up and you go down to speak with Artan and ask him kind of how he's doing, he kind of a bit groggy and kind of scratches his head and says, I didn't get much sleep. Maybe an hour or two. It's like I just every now and then I would feel a tinge and it would wake me from my sleep, and I don't know. It's just not going to be good. I have a feeling I'm not going to get a good rest going forward.
Well, unfortunately, that's just going to be the way it is until we can find a way to cure this.
At this point, the hair and eyes have changed more of a orangish color. But when he says that he's not going to be very comfortable, Q&A's first response is, "Well, what can we do to help and make sure that you feel better? Could we perhaps buy some wine for the Lord, or maybe some food, something that would help ease the travel?" And it doesn't sound condescending; it sounds genuine.
He looks kind of relieved that somebody is being kind to him and says, I don't know that there's anything that could make me more comfortable. I want to get this over with as quickly as possible.
Well, I suppose that we should at least make sure that we can try, and she'll probably stock up on a stupid amount of wine and a stupid amount of food. Good food.
Mm-hmm. As you kind of gather around in the morning, he mentions that Justin and Lessler, which I'll go ahead and give you their names, will be the two men that are going to be driving the wagon. He kind of looks at you and says, they'll be alternating the reins. There will be no stopping. It's straight through Tribor as quickly as possible.
How are the roads? Do we expect to bumpy travel?
He thinks for a second and says, usually if we have any issues, we're going to have them the closer we get to Tribor. Once we pass Westbridge, that's generally when we start to see any issues.
Go ahead.
You go, Ren. I'll go next.
What's the condition of the wagon? Are your guys' wheels up to date? Do you need any extra supplies before we head out?
And he looks at you and says, no, we have 2 fresh horses that are going to be pulling it, and the wagon is in perfect condition.
So we're going through the night and everything?
He nods and says, my men will alternate all night, and you can rest in the wagon should you so choose, but there will be no stopping on this route through Tribor.
We need to make a stop in Red Larch.
Yes, we have to make sure that there was a healer available in Red Larch. Didn't your boss discuss that with you?
You are talking to the boss.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and
That
he
makes it
shakes
super
his
easy, then.
he shakes his head and says, "That's not going to be a possibility, my friends."
I'm not sure your horses will make it all the way up without stopping.
He looks at you and says, "That's not for you to be concerned with. We will make sure that we get there on time."
They're just gonna shoot the horses and put on some new ones.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. That's not exactly a good thing.
I mean, he seems fine in the water, so
Yeah, from what you can tell, he does not. I mean, aside from it obviously being an uncomfortable situation for him, he doesn't seem bothered by the fact that he has to set in this barrel. And, I mean, it's certainly better than having to run over to the river or being drug along in the river the whole time.
We also may be able to convince the drivers of the wagon.
That's true, actually. How long is it to get to Yatar from here? Like, how many days, if going at the pace that you guys want to set?
Let's see. Trying to remember here. Hold on. I gotta pull up a card here because it's gonna be a long road here.
Oh boy.
Long road.
See how many miles it is.
Mm-hmm.
Many.
60.
He looks and says, "Well, from where we are, you're looking at an additional 10 days travel."
Oh my god. Okay, so what I know about this disease is this stage 1? Like, is it going to progress and get worse?
From what you know of it, it seems like this is just the way it's got to be for him. Until it's cured, it looks like it's stable. And yes, while your lesser restoration reduced how dramatic it was, it did not resolve the issue.
Okay, but it's not...
It's not getting worse again.
Okay, so we're not like gonna be like, oh look, it's dinner time, Lord. Oh look, you're looking very abolithy today.
Yeah, no,
All right.
You can tell that if anything, it's going to just kill the boy outright if you don't make sure that he gets the water that he needs to keep his skin from being poisoned.
All right. I'm going to have prepared from this entire time. I'm going to have create or destroy water prepared, just in the event that we need to like put more water in this barrel.
Okay.
So if it's like there's an event where it's like the thing tipped over because we hit a rock, then it's like I'm on it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Okay. All right. What do the rest of you guys want to do?
I imagine I'll be walking alongside the wagon with Crinkle.
Mm-hmm. I'll be ready.
For the first day, she'll be in the barrel, and she's probably talking the little kid's ear off, and making sure that he's taken care of and comfortable, and doting on him excessively.
How big is this barrel?
I'm not sure 2 people will fit in the barrel.
No, she's not in the barrel. She's sitting next to him.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I was like, that's
not literally next to him, guys. Come on.
It's like just hey, Dap. Soldier just be like, wow, okay. I just hang out in the barrel.
Okay. So yeah, your first day.
Didn't you also say there were 4 people? 4? Then?
What's that?
Or is it just the 2 drivers?
It's the 2 drivers, and then you. He's basically hiring you as guards to protect his wagon.
Right. Okay.
We should probably search all of their stuff at some point in the night to see what they're really up to.
Or we could just not. So if he's hiring us, are we getting paid, or is the payment us getting the ride?
Yeah, I think it was we were getting paid for the free travel.
So, what you're gathering from this is, yes, you're getting free travel out of this. You're going to be making your way wherever, kind of being filled in by Shalvis to know that that's the direction you're heading. That's why he was like offering you to begin with that you could ride with them. He's basically he's giving you that opportunity to ride for free, and as long as you obviously offer to help protect the wagon on the way there.
Well, when has us being on a wagon ever ended poorly? When is us ever being put on a wagon ended poorly? She says as she stomps on Lucas's foot, and very ineffectually because she's got about no force to put behind it.
What was that for?
No reason.
No reason. Okay. So a day's worth of travel will put you about here, just outside of Red Larch. As you guys start making your way up the Karan Road, as you start to get there, nothing strange happens. As they kind of mentioned, they usually don't see anything wrong. They don't run into any issues along the ways. It's usually pretty low key. As the day is coming to an end, let's see what happens.
How far did we get?
Got about 50 miles for the day.
I mean, you
Solid.
can check, see how far we got. Boop. Well, alright. No, that doesn't work.
Let's see. Yeah.
7 out of
Okay.
100.
That's the Kraken!
That's our random encounter chance, guys.
As
Well,
you're making your way up this road, fortunately your day goes without a hitch. Everything goes smoothly. You make it the entire first 24 hours, everything happens as it's expected. You make your way to Red Larch, and as the gates begin to open and allow you through, you notice these guys are certainly not stopping.
Would one of our more diplomatic types like to try to get him to stop at least long enough for us to maybe find help for the kid?
I can tell it.
Wow, you guys got to see all 4 of her seasons in a couple days
In
here.
4 days?
Yeah, you got to see the full gambit here. So now it's more of a nice blondish look, and yeah. So okay, so when Selja's like, hey, could somebody who's more diplomatic do it? She goes, hey, we need to stop at Red Larch. Pull over.
Oh wow.
Hey.
You notice these guys just kind of shrug you off and says, "Boss told us to continue. We're not stopping in Red Larch."
Yeah, well, we need to stop. So if you wanted us to help you get through Tribor, you should stop because he needs to stop. It's gonna go real bad. As you hoist the barrel aloft.
As you do this, you start to see that Jostin, the one that started the day as the rider, or as the driver of the wagon, is now sitting off to the side. He turns around and looks at you and says, "Perhaps I didn't make myself fucking clear enough. We are not stopping."
Wow. First off, that's needlessly rude and
And-
aggressive.
Rapier is out, and she says, "No, perhaps
Whoa,
you didn't hear.
whoa,
Perhaps you didn't
whoa.
hear me. He needs to. We need to stop in Red Larch, and we're doing so right now."
Okay,
Then
so
What?
so when I said
Son.
diplomatic, I meant diplomatic.
like Forge, you can see what her summer flaw is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep. mhm.
Nav is going to turn to Grankle. I don't know. She is really weird, but I like this chick.
Very angry.
As she draws her rapier, I'd like to intervene. Killing. Oh, slow down there. We don't need to be making enemies here.
You're
Crap!
you're absolutely right. But You guys wanted to stop. We need to stop. We need to get him
Yes.
to somebody
yes.
who can help.
Okay,
Threatening
he's fine.
violence is not the way to make people stop.
I wasn't
No, it
going to
actually,
stab him unless he
I
provoked
agree
it
with
further.
Gourmet. Violence is usually the answer. If we hit them on the head hard enough, they're gonna stop.
That was the time.
Dab, shut
What?
up. You're not even on the wagon.
What does that have to do with us stopping?
I don't know what's going on.
This escalated so quickly. And I love
It 100% did.
0 to 100. I'm sitting over here looking at Facebook, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck's happening?
I hear rapier drawn. Whoa!
I mean, Forge can also see my flaws.
As you're so here, just to add salt to the wound, as you're going through Red
Oh
Larch.
God.
Here you go. Named for the very distinctive strand of red larch trees that were cut down to put the village in place here. You look around and notice this is a very faith-based city, including the All Faith Shrine, a place of worship for casters of multiple faiths. And the Swinging Sword, a respectable 3-story inn that is often treated as a kind of religious hideout for paladins and things of the such. And then off into the back corner, the Helm of the High Sun, a very lively kind of tavern that is often kind of visited by some of the clerics of the realm. As you're passing, again, you're going past each one of these one at a time. And you're passing them, and they are not stopping this wagon.
This is.
She is tapping her foot impatiently.
This is.
Yes.
Michael, did you want me to hit him over the head?
No, Justin. We've got a guy back here that needs some help, and it won't take more than 30 minutes. Well,
No more than 30 minutes.
that's-
Exactly.
As you say that, he looks at you and says, "That's 30 minutes more than we have. We are not stopping this wagon."
why? What is the issue with not stopping?
He looks at you and says, "Do you not understand how schedules work? We are told to do a job, and we have to be there at a certain time."
And you're telling me that if you're 30 minutes late, the job goes completely wrong.
He looks at you and says, "Have you not been paying attention? But we have not stopped yet on this trip. There is a reason we are going straight there."
Okay, so
And
let me
it better
ask
be
you.
a good reason. So what is it?
Hold on. Let me ask you this question. What happens if something happens on the road and you get delayed?
"Then it will be your head."
Are you really?
Whoa, wait. So if your
Well,
wagon wheel,
if that's the
if you
case,
hit a rock and you break a wheel, that's our problem?
If we hit a rock and we break a wheel, then obviously we will take care of it, but we will not take 30 minutes to stop to let some boy get out and talk to some priest. Nobody cares.
Nav kind of looks over at him and he's like, "You make a good point." And he's going to take his halberd out and he's
Oh,
going
God.
to swing at the wheel.
Oh God!
I was just about to ask you to break a wheel.
Go ahead and
God.
give me an attack roll.
I can't stop that.
Oh,
I can't do anything
As,
either.
as you bring the halberd down, it bounces off the wheel, hitting like the metal
why?
top of it. And as it bounces off, he immediately turns to you, grabbing towards his dagger. And his buddy just looks at him. No. We're not going to do that. We got a better idea. And that's how we're going to end our session tonight.
Oh.
Ooh.
Hey, at least his buddy has isn't as brash as. Or
Oh,
two
he's
friends
probably
here.
gonna kick us off the wagon.
Probably, but
I
at
was-
least he's
I
not
was just
resorting to violence.
I was just going to thunder wave us off the wagon.
Holy crap!
So far, you are a day and a half into your travels out of a 10-day trip. And
Okay. All right. So this is my feeling on the matter. If they really want to get pissed off at
or
us,
almost
that's
2 days
fine,
actually.
but they still need us to get through Tribor.
Yeah,
So-
we were cool all up until they started threatening people.
Yeah,
Well-
like we were really cool, and then people got really aggressive.
So here was the thing. They were fine with you asking, but not multiple times, and that's what triggered him. Is he was just like, no, look, we told you this isn't happening. We have a job, and you're either going to respect our job or we'll just deal with it. So
I think we're gonna deal with it.
think we're probably gonna deal with it.
Hey, I hate to break it to you, pal, but we got no problem bringing the delivery to Mornsburg and taking the payment.
I mean, we don't owe anything to the Zentarum anyways.
We don't like them anyways.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Anyways,
Like
They're
that's
wagon. We
that's
just need
part
to
that's
get
part
them
of the
here at
reason why
large.
I was
Y'all-
completely
you guys
okay
better
with
be, you guys better be right that this is where we need to be. Otherwise, I just messed up.
I mean,
No,
there is
you
so...
didn't mess up. You attacked before I could ask you to attack.
Oh,
I was
and-
going to full. I
I
was
was
going to
playing
fully
my
suggest you break
character.
it.
No,
my
this is
character,
fine.
Like you just spurred my character into agreeing with you because he's like, violence is the answer. Don't
Yeah,
need to do
no.
this.
Like the summer one is hot-headed and brash, and it's like as soon as it was, hey, we're not doing that. It's like, what the hell did you say? Yes, we are. It's like her trait is you believe that direct confrontation is the best way to solve problems, and the flaw is the best option is the one that is swift, unexpected, and overwhelming. So she was fully prepared to stab that fool.
I got the quick and the swift, but not the overwhelming part. So
So my feeling is this: like, we're gonna have a wagon and a bunch of beer.
Pretty much, yeah. The next
no
thing I
one's
was going to say
happen. This
was, well,
Archivist
we
could
really
come back and die and be like, really, guys?
There's 6 of us.
that was the next thing. It was like, we really don't need the drivers. We just needed the wagon.
We need to know where they're taking it, so we need to get that information. But
Well,
other than that,
they're taking it to Mornsburg. I mean,
I
we
mean,
can
we know
figure
it's
out
city,
like
but
we
we
can
don't
figure
know
out like
who
who's
or-
expecting a delivery in Mornsburg.
Mhm.
I
We
mean,
know who
it'd
they're
be nice.
taking.
We also don't know for sure that it actually is beer, and with this timeline, it's kind of suspect. So
It'd be
Yeah, a little
nice also if we didn't make enemies of an entire spy network.
I mean that's
So
a thing.
It would just be the one cell. really.
so Lucas, I would like to
this would be the
remind.
second. So.
I would like to remind you
Yeah,
that
this would not be the second one.
yeah, we had already pissed off the Zentarum, and that thing, the girl got away, and B,
Mhm.
her pet, who we can assume had a message, also got away. So the
Uh-huh.
Zentarum already don't like us.
this is fine. We're just reinforcing.
Everything
Yeah,
is fine
fine.
here.
We're
This is
pretty
fine.
much like we're basically now we have a cart because when people started going for daggers, that's when Selge is like, okay,
Oh, they were
I
all
have-
threatening
Bam.
Seljin. I was like,
How
I
many
got
of
it.
them are there?
I got a bugbear.
There are 2.
There's 2 dudes? No. You don't know what you're doing here. You have a fucking crazy ass goblin who's calling himself a god. You really want to take him?
who just learned that we have a way to summon elementals. Calm down.
Oh, I need to give that to Selja, by the way. I can't use that scroll.
Oh, what's wrong?
Conjure Elemental.
I believe I can use that scroll.
It's a druid spell, but it's
Yeah.
it's a little high level. So
All right.
It is.
like a-
It is very high level.
It's
but-
like a 5th or something.
It's a
Yeah.
5th level.
All right.
right.
So I'm good. So scroll of conjure elemental. I'll put that down on the sheet.
I'm gonna go in stream and then I'll be right back, guys. Okay. Holy shit. What a night, man. What a night. Alright, cool. Let's look here. I think I'm gonna go over to Legends of Avantis. They are finishing or still playing their session. Thank you guys for being here tonight. This is going to get interesting really quickly. I wasn't sure how they would handle it or what they were doing, and man, there's just so much going on. Thank you for being here. go say hi to Legends of Avantis. They will be happy to see you, just as I was. Have a good night. I will see you guys on Sunday, but Fate will be here tomorrow, so come and say hi to him 10:30 p.m. I will see you guys very soon. Have a good night.